better. All right, so bear with me as I get my other stream going. It'll, I believe YouTube will start notifying folks. So we're gonna be uh, discussing the No Apologies tour. Huh. This should be interesting. This should be interesting. Not that I don't agree with the guy, but there's more questions to be asked behind it. So give me a minute to get my other streams going here. Um, so we'll just put this in here and be up momentarily. We're going to be talking about Vice President J.D. Vance is in the news. And of course, we got a secondary topic. Say his name and he appears, I believe, in the handsome conservative. That's my guy. What up, handsome conservative? Good to see you on already. Give me a minute. We're going to get the other stream going, and we should be on momentarily. So a little bit less than a minute. So give me a brief moment here. I think you can kind of see what's on behind me, where we're going with this, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Shout out to the Trump administration, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So I want to make sure I get all my, we're going to be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X. All right, so I just want to make sure I get the right hashtags in here. What does that say in the comments? It's always good to be here. I really do enjoy your show. It's set for King Finn. All right, conservative. All right, my guy. Appreciate you, man. Friend of the program. Let me get this hashtag in. You distracted me. What is his name? J.D. Vance. I typed his name really bad here. Had to correct it. Gotta get a vice president his respect and type his name in right. Okay, so I don't know why I just typed what I just typed, but I got to interrupt that and take that out. And how's everybody doing? Day before Christmas Eve, everybody all set and ready to have a few days off of work and relax? I know I sure as hell am. I'm off until Monday, so hopefully most of you folks got a extended period of days off coming as well. So I think we got everything going here. I think we're good to go. Let me make sure we can go ahead and there we go. All right. So it will get me going in 3, 2, and 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim Z, handsome liberal, depending on who you ask. Always good to see you folks here this Christmas Eve. How about that? Christmas Eve. This is, in fact, thanks to President Trump, thanks to the current commander-in-chief, we're on the eve of 3 solid vacation days. President Trump made Christmas Eve and December 26th a federal holiday. Now, if you're not a federal employee, and apparently there's not many of them left, but if you're not a federal employee, that may not mean as much to you, but nevertheless, President Trump's administration has made December 24th, Christmas Eve, and December 26th federal holiday. So that might mean something to you. So go figure. Like I stated, I get 3 days off. So I'm not paid for all 3 days, but I'm off until Monday. So maybe we can have some fun here. Maybe I can come show up and holler at you folks during some of that time. I don't think anybody wants to do a live on Christmas. I'd gladly show up, but I don't think any of you guys want to hear me talk shit to you on Christmas Day. So we probably won't be here on Christmas, but I'd gladly come in tomorrow and the 26th, depending. Emphasis on depending what goes on in the media. I don't expect major news to break over the Christmas holiday. It generally does not. I mean, even though we're on the cusp of war with Venezuela, I don't expect any major news to break over the holiday. So I don't think there would be much to bring you anyway. No, I did not watch the Niners yesterday or last night. I'll certainly be watching them this weekend. You're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. They'll be playing the Chicago Bears, where I'll be praying that they lose handsomely. I'll be hoping that the 49ers definitely lose against the Chicago Bears. So Anyhow, we'll go ahead and get into the show. And like I said, welcome all of you folks. Hopefully, getting a little bit of relaxation in. Hopefully, you're going to be receiving the benefits of Santa as opposed to having to fork over the expenses of being Santa. I'm on the latter end of that. So listen, the older you get, the Santa thing becomes more of a detriment than it does something to boast off of. So it is what it is. But anyway, I want to talk to you folks about what's in the news. That's what we always do here. And just real quick, so you know, go ahead and tap the screen. We'll start taking the first caller at 10,000. Help your boy out. You know we don't block, ban, or censor the program. Trying to find where my gear is, but my damn MAGA hat and everything's missing. Anyway, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 10,000. I'm in a house full of women. You sound like you're in a really good place there, Gerald MC, unless they're related to you. Sound like you're in a good place. Merry Christmas to your health care prices. Brycey, yeah, healthcare is going to be a topic we're going to be certainly talking about coming up soon. It's going to be a disaster with the amount of stories you're going to hear on the news in the next few days. Probably in about a week or so, you're going to start hearing some really interesting stories that tug at the heartstrings. You're going to certainly hear that people can't afford their prescriptions, having to cancel doctor's appointments, all of that, because people are going to be literally losing their health care. So that's going to certainly be a big story in January. And there's no way around it because they got to take time to vote for it first. So people are going to lose their health care coverage before Congress votes it back in. My guess is they'll get on it quick because the stories are going to be horrible, but that's going to happen. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson sent people home, so they didn't take a vote on it. It's going to happen. So we'll absolutely be talking about that in the next week or so. But today we're talking about Vice President J.D. Vance. I think you guys have all heard this by now, but listen, if it's in the news, I want to talk to you about it, and today is no exception. Vice President J.D. Vance.
We stand against treating anybody, and I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs. In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. And if you're an Asian, you don't have to talk around your skin color when you're applying for college, because we judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity and things they can't control. We don't persecute you for being male, for being straight, for being gay, for being anything. The only thing that we demand is that you be a great American patriot, and if you're that, you're very much on our team.
Question real quick in the comments by way of yes or no. Do you think he's telling the truth? Do you believe what he said is actually accurate? 100% accurate. Let me know in the comments and we'll go ahead and tackle his statement. I see Andy says yes, followed by RB saying no, followed by B.A. Cole saying yes, followed by Elliot McCoy saying no, followed by Handsome McCoy saying, a handsome conservative saying yes. So there's a fair bit of you that are saying no and yes. It's amazing at how many folks are saying yes and how many folks are saying no. So there seems to be a healthy amount of you that favor what J.D. Vance is saying, believe it's accurate, and then there's a healthy amount of you that are saying no. I see the one and only Gen X friend of the program is saying 100%. So it's a performance. Well, let's tackle some of what he said. They don't persecute you based on we don't persecute people based on who they are, not on ethnicity or the things they can't control. Didn't the Supreme Court just recently rule that ICE had the right to stop folks simply for being brown? I mean, maybe I'm getting that one wrong. Maybe that did not happen, but I'm under the impression that ICE, DJ Julio, thank you. Good to see you. Appreciate that. I'm under the impression that the courts just gave ICE permission to stop folks simply for being brown, the language they spoke, and even the location they were in. So if you're a bunch of brown people hanging at a Home Depot, they can stop you. Did I get that wrong? Because he's saying that they don't mess with people. We don't judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity or things they can't control. Does that sound like that kind of goes against what he just said? Now he also said we don't persecute you for being male, gay, or straight. Well, when he says the Republican Party does not persecute people for being gay, I'll leave that up to you. Obviously, they don't persecute you for being male or straight, but he also threw gay in there. He didn't throw trans in there. I noticed that trans didn't come up, but even gay, I'd like to hear from you folks in regards to that. You guys on YouTube are saying no sound. Let me make sure. Can you guys hear me on YouTube? I see some folks are saying no sound. No, we can't believe you said that on YouTube. Let me know if you don't hear me on YouTube. Let me know on one of my platforms. I'll have to reset that. Why is there a picture of Trump? And okay, so I'll go ahead and reset one of the platforms. But what I want to obviously talk about is JD Vance suggesting that you don't have to apologize anymore for being white. I want to ask you folks, do you know anybody that's apologized to someone for being white? Do you have any friends, associates, or relatives? What about you yourself if you happen to be a white male or white female? Have you ever apologized for your skin color? Because I'm trying to figure out what is making him suggest that you don't have to apologize for being white, and as he said, anymore. So as if there's a host of people, as if the white community has a history of apologizing based on their skin color. Has any of you done that? Have any of you folks, and I got an ample amount of Caucasian viewers. I love talking to everyone from every background, but have any of you apologized for being white? I don't know. We're going to bring up callers, obviously, but I certainly want to hear from folks from the simple standpoint of asking, what does that mean? Is that something that should be taken at face value, that people are indeed apologizing for being white and they need to stop? Or is that a coded message for something else? Some folks are suggesting it might be a dog whistle or something else. So I do want to hear from you folks on that, because I'm not aware of anyone on television, in the newspapers, cable news outlets, on the internet, social media, you name it. I'm not aware of any video footage featuring someone apologizing for being white. And that's obviously what JD Vance, Vice President Vance, to get his name correctly and give him his accolades, that's what he's saying. So what is making him say that you no longer have to apologize for being white? Where is that coming from? And you hear the audience behind him really applauding that.
Their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs. In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
Who's ever done that? I'm curious. Does anybody know anybody that's done it? So we're going to talk about that, and somebody has to clear that up for me. Somebody's got to clear it, because I'm baffled as to what he is talking about. By the way, a year ago, JD Vance was speaking with well-known podcaster Megyn Kelly, which this is from a year ago. So that means JD Vance was seeking to become vice president, I believe, because he was not. He was the vice president elect this time last year. But this
love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom.
Now, I played that.
I love my wife so much.
I played that little clip because it almost sounds like he himself is apologizing for his wife not being white. That's what I'm hearing. I mean, he's coming up and saying, I love my wife, and it almost makes it sound like he's saying, I love my wife, despite that one flaw that she's not white. Now, I'm speculating. I'm sure a hell of a lot of you are going to disagree with me, but just hear it again. It's a real brief clip.
My wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom.
You know, I love my son. Obviously, he has Down syndrome. You know, we've been attacked a little bit because he's disabled, but I love my, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he is wording that in a way that suggests her not being white is some sort of a flaw. Some sort of a flaw. Now, like I stated, I may be hearing this, you know, this is the way I'm hearing it, and maybe likely many of you are going to disagree with that. I get it, but that is what he's saying. Everybody knows she's not white. Why are you saying that? Everybody knows that. It sounds like he's really saying I love her in spite of the fact that she's not white. So I just want to point that out. When he's saying that you shouldn't have to apologize for being white, it kind of sounds like he is somewhat apologizing for his wife being out of India. So let me know in the comments. In the comments, real quick, Crazy Dave 2028. Why? Because I'm crazy. Who is Dave? Dave who? John says Crazy Dave for 2028. Who is Dave? Let me know. So going straight to the box, and I see somebody says, I need him to elaborate because that is asinine thing. Yeah. This is called gaslighting, folks, says Gordon. Well, look, playing the guy's clip and questioning what he means, if that alone qualifies as gaslighting, you know, chalk me up as guilty because he's saying things that I don't understand what he means. Before we go on, we do have one other topic, but JD Vance really takes a cake. But you may have heard this. This is also in the news, and it's because of the 60 Minutes interview that wasn't. 60 Minutes put out an interview about the notorious maximum security El Salvadoran prison known as CCOT. And they were describing the conditions in there. And then all of a sudden they decided to pull the interview, pull the clip, or pull their piece they did on it. I want you to hear something. Now, this came out before the 60 Minutes interview. And I have seen the 60 Minutes interview. I think many of you probably have seen it. They've been pulling it constantly. So if you can catch it, I think it's a little less than 20 minutes long, but 60 Minutes was going to put out an interview, and they pulled it in the United States, but they had released it on a website in Canada, and people took it off the website, you know, recorded it with their phones and stuff like that. It went viral. So at this point, everybody has seen it. It's kind of like, for my African-American audience, you remember the movie Soul Plane with Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart and all of those actors? One of the most pirated movies ever. By the time it made it to the theater, nobody went and see it because everybody has seen the bootleg copy. That's kind of what we're dealing with here, is that everybody's seen it. I don't know if they're going to end up showing it in the United States on CBS, but everybody's seen it already. But here goes.
Venezuelan citizens deported by the Trump administration to El Salvador faced horrifying abuse during their time in a notorious prison. The abuse allegedly includes systematic torture, sexual violence, and forced disappearances. CBS News immigration and politics reporter Camila Montoya Galvez broke down the details earlier today with our Vlad Dutier.
The investigation found the detainees were victims of what they called constant beatings by officials at the notorious maximum security prison known as Secot in El Salvador, as well as other forms of mistreatment, including, in some cases, sexual abuse. Lad. Investigators argue that some of these cases constitute torture under international law, and citing interviews with more than 40 of the Venezuelan men held at this mega prison in that Central American country. The report also said the detainees face inhumane conditions, that they were held incommunicado without sufficient access to food, medical care, and basic hygiene in some cases. Importantly, Vlad, the investigation also raises questions about what the Trump administration has said about these men. The administration.
Now, what I want to talk about this, like I said, this was released before the 60 Minutes. This is about a month old. There's a lot of things he don't even mention here, like they have to live with the lights on 24 hours a day, which will fuck up any effort to get some sleep. They're making them drink sewer water, the same water they used to bathe in. They have to drink that same water, and they're suggesting it's making them sick and things like that. Well, what came out during the 60 Minutes interview, because I know a lot of people don't give a damn about a drug dealer or a gang, a gang leader or whatever the hell they're claiming these people are. But what came out during the 60 Minutes interview is that 50% of the folks we sent to CCOT have zero criminal history. They don't have any criminal history at all. I'm going to ask right off the bat, do you believe that? Do you believe there's any chance at all that the CBS special or the CBS expose, I guess I'd call it, do you believe there's any chance that the CBS expose, 60 Minutes expose, was accurate? Or do you believe there's a chance that President Trump and what is her name? Kristi Noem and I can't even think of another guy, Tom Homan. Do you believe there's any chance they would knowingly send someone that hasn't done anything of violence to a place like this? Do you think that they are Trump, Homan, Kristi Noem, or do you believe they would be that heartless that they would send someone in this environment, even if they knew the person had not done anything other than maybe running across the Rio Grande and into America? Do you think that they would think what's going on at CCOT allegedly is just punishment? I'm asking this because I am asking you a serious question in regards to, do you believe that your current commander-in-chief, your president, is a cruel, inhumane human being? Because that is what this would amount to. Do you believe Trump has this sort of a cruelty streak in him? Going to talk about that. So I do want to hear from you folks, certainly about JD Vance, but this right here, if this is indeed deliberately sending folks to torturous environments where they don't have any right to be there, they haven't done anything wrong according to the 60 Minutes interview. 50% of them have committed no violent crime at all, and they're sending them to this. So I want to talk to you folks about that. As always, you know how the program is ran. We are indeed MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. MAGA's my preferred guest. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. We go left to Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. If you're currently watching us on TikTok, Instagram, or X, feel free to follow the program. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a sub. For a minute there, I had a mental blank there. Anyway, looking in the comments, it's an American culture behavior to dehumanize individuals they deem so. You saying that's in our culture? Wow. Because you do hear folks when they see African Americans, black people committing mob robberies and shit, they go, that's in their culture to be thugs and commit acts of violence. You're telling me it's in America's culture to dehumanize individuals that they deem so? Wow. Hi, Tim. I don't think I've been this early before. Hi, is everyone else? Let me know for you folks watching on YouTube on my second stream if you got audio. No, I had to reset the device. Let me know if you got audio because people did complain about the audio. I'm going to go straight to the box and we'll go straight to James Harper. Good evening, James. No longer apologizing for being white, James. What say you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Vance suggests that there's no need going forward to apologize for being white. What is he talking about?
Those that believe that they're supposed to have white guilt for America's past.
Do you encounter many people? Well, wait a minute. So if you apologize for the issues of the past, does that mean you're apologizing for being white?
No. It doesn't mean that you're apologizing for being white. The problem is they're uncomfortable with that past because then they have to really take a look at it and be like, was my ancestors a part of this, or was, because remember, nobody wants to claim that they were on the wrong side of the history. Everybody wants to act like their ancestors was like help with the Underground Railroad and things like that.
But how? Yeah, that's it. Well, how about this though? Even if your ancestor was a slave owner or your ancestors did, lynch black folks or what, that's not you though. You don't hope. I mean, you don't want to be held accountable for what your granddad did, do you not?
Yeah, people don't hold them accountable. That's the thing. Like, we would hold the person that did it accountable, yes, but see, they're afraid that people are going to come in trying to sue them and things like that. And it's like, no, like if you are different from your ancestors, that's good enough. But some of these people act like their ancestor was right and doing things like that, but they don't want to say it in public because they know they're going to get some sort of like pushback for it.
Well, okay, so you're saying that some folks are actually saying that their racist ancestors had the right idea.
Some are. I'm not going to say all of them, but some do have that line of thinking. But others, like I said, they want to believe that like their ancestor wasn't that person. You know how people like to romanticize their ancestry.
Well, the fact is, most of white America during that time benefited from the oppression. I mean, if you're holding one group of people down in some way, fashion, or form, you're benefiting from that. Like America, we get involved in the politics of other countries. There's a reason why fuel costs cheaper here because we're always involved in other people's shit. There's a reason why we're on top. So even if you personally are not going over to other countries and trying to tell them how they should live their lives and things like that, you're benefiting from it because our country is doing it and it's making our country benefit from the actions of that. So if you're white, yeah, you're during that time rather. But what about now? Do you think white people are benefiting now from what went on then?
I would say those with like old money are probably are still benefiting from like where it is, or those who are like in an area where like they can get like legacy benefits, like positions or like enrollments in schools and things like that. Yeah, those people are.
Explain your take on you say people that have old money. Explain that.
People whose parents got rich from those exploitations, and they kept the money. They didn't lose the money like in things like the Great Depression, things like that. They was able to keep those resources and things.
Yeah, I would tell you, I would go further than that and just simply say when they were giving out land across this country, if you were a white person, you could get access to land and knowing that the blacks could not. If that land is still in your family, then clearly all of the generations that have inherited that, they all benefited from it. I mean, you don't need to own slaves.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you got free land when nobody else could get it. I mean, so there are some things like that. But you think that's what J.D. Vance is talking about, though?
Yeah, remember, J.D. Vance is an opportunist, and the people that back him are people from the old money. That's why they call themselves the Heritage Foundation. Like, they're for old America.
But J.D. Vance would be right, though. Nobody should be apologizing for being white, right?
The thing is, nobody's sitting there like shaming them for being white. All people do is they want America to talk about all their past, not just the stuff that they romanticize.
Well, when you say nobody's shaming them for being white, there are plenty of African Americans and minorities that go after people simply because they're white. You don't see any shaming at all. I mean, I think there are plenty of minorities that do shame people for being white.
There's some, but like I said, it's not the majority. But the problem is, it's always the loudest group that gets the most light. So,
but you said it's the loudest group. So you're saying that what J.D. Vance's group is the loudest?
Yeah, it's starting to be. That's that subset of MAGA that they don't want to say they're part of. The ones that are like Christian nationalists and the neo-Nazis that they swear up and down don't exist in their party.
So do you believe that J.D. Vance's group consists of that? You think J.D. Vance's group is a bunch of neo-Nazis and Christian nationalists?
The Heritage Foundation people, yes, they are definitely part of that shit.
Well, I know they're Christian nationalists because that's their main orbit is Christianity. But you think they're involved in Nazism?
I won't say they're part of it, but they're allies.
So
you don't see them going around like denouncing them.
No, I mean, there's a lot of groups that don't denounce the Nazis. That don't mean they're all part of it, though, right?
If you're sitting there benefiting from their involvement and you're not denouncing it, then you're a part of it.
So how does about to say Charlie Kirk, well, the Heritage Foundation, how do they benefit from the neo-Nazi movement?
The neo-Nazi movement is voters and donations.
Oh, so you believe that neo-Nazis would vote for candidates from the Heritage Foundation and even donate money to them?
Yes.
You know they're going to deny that, right?
Of course they're going to deny that. Like, who, like I said, who wants to be on the wrong side of history? They don't want to admit that shit.
So what are you saying? They're a bunch of liars?
Yeah. Because remember, they swore up and down Project 2025 was not a whole thing. But look at what's been happening this whole year. That shit is right down that list.
I was told that Charlie Kirk, who was originally the head of the Heritage, I was told that these folks hold no ill will towards minorities. I mean, you got folks now that are continuing to say that he is merely being taken out of context, and folks are just hating on the guy for no reason.
Right. Somebody who constantly says negative things about minorities has no ill will towards them. All right.
Well, I mean, they say it was taken out of context. They say Charlie Kirk was just speaking facts, and you got a whole bunch of people on the left that just want to paint the guy as a racist, and they're taking him out of context.
Okay. But this says the same guy that says civil rights was a mistake, Martin Luther King was a bad guy, and questions the qualifications of people who graduated from college, which he didn't even finish, who's gone through like a lot of training that he couldn't even possibly dream of going through to get the qualifications for the job that they're supposed to get, and swears up and down DEI is an excuse program that like lets anybody unqualified get a position of importance.
Well, speaking of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or as some would say, didn't earn it. Danny says Charlie Kirk knew that minorities were just as capable as anybody else at being successful, and what he did not tolerate was the victim mentality. How do you respond to folks who suggest that, let's say, for instance, blacks have victim mentality and they're always playing the race card and acting as though somebody is holding them back when it's really themselves?
I will say that in some cases, yeah, that's true. But to say that he thought that people were qualified, that's a damn lie, because he swore, like he even said on live that Harris, Crockett, and Michelle Obama took spots that was supposed to be for white people.
Well, did he actually say that they took spots that were supposed to be for white people?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Ooh. I know he indicated that they were not very intelligent, but I didn't know he said that Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris took spots that were supposed to be for white people. I don't know. I wish he was around for me to ask him what the hell does that mean, because I did not hear that part. Wow. And Handsome Digital Marketing comment says, Handsome, why keep the do going, man? It's embarrassing for your pay. What are you talking about, Digital? I want to hear from the people. He's trying to suggest that me continuing to talk to you is embarrassing for the page and the audience.
Bring him up, because all he's been doing is sitting there spouting bullshit, talking about something. I'm supposed to be, I'm taking gummies, and I'm supposed to be related to Hakeem Jeffrey. He's an online troll.
Well, listen, Digital Mark, you're welcome to come up on the program and certainly describe your point. I would bring you up with glee, so understand that you can come up anytime. So I want to ask also this whole CCOP. We'll get into this. We'll go back to back to JD Vance if possible. But in regards to this CCOT, Do you believe that there really is torture happening there, like they're suggesting that 60 Minutes interview?
Yes. Remember, that prison was supposed to be like, it was supposed to be a deterrent to the gangs and down there in that country. But the problem is, Trump is, you know how Trump and their people are. They'll gladly throw away those people if anybody doesn't have a problem with it. Like peace and love. He's like, who cares? We care because that's people that they didn't get due process or anything like that. All it was you don't have your citizenship. Let's throw you anywhere.
Why do you think there are folks like what Pizza Lover said, who care? Why do you think that? I mean, because that is a human being, and he is indicating that even if they're going through torturous events, who cares? Why do you believe there are people like that just seem to not care what is happening to another human being?
Because they're selfish jackasses. That's why.
Ooh. Do you think Trump is like that?
Trump has always been like that.
You think Trump lacks empathy to the point where he would know that somebody where he's sending is going to a torture camp and he would send them there anyway? You really think he's that low?
Yes, he is that low. It accomplishes his goal, right? He said he was going to be tough on immigration, and he's getting these people out of there. And guess what? This place is opening the doors, welcoming him to throw these people in there. And he's like, "Here, take them."
Well,
remember, his people has been down there multiple times.
Yeah, but
and not one time did they say, "You know what? You being a little too cruel. Things ain't humane." They even doing photo ops down there.
Yeah, but being tough on crime, James, and enacting acts of torture are two different things. In America, we can have a penal system that's tough on criminals, but when you start adding torture, that's taking it to a different level. I mean, you're saying that Trump would condone torture?
Yes, this is the same guy that says that boat looks like it's a narcotics boat. Let's blow it up.
That ain't, well, if they're bringing poisonous drugs in this country that could kill Americans, and he kills them first, could that not be argued that it's self-defense?
No, it's not self-defense, because what do we normally do? If those boats come anywhere near us, we capture them and take the stuff, and then we can use that evidence to go after who's actually doing it. How are you supposed to know, like, who's supplying it and things like that if you blow up all the evidence?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, if you're talking about somebody that is carrying a whole bunch of hazardous substance to the country, folks are going to argue, why are you so sympathetic with somebody that's coming to kill Americans? I mean, they're bringing in poison. I mean, I get what you're saying. His response is pretty hellish, but at the end of the day, this would be
It's overkill and wasteful.
Well, I mean, you're killing somebody that's bringing death to America.
You can easily intercept them. You have plenty of time, and then half the boats that they've been getting at don't even have the capacity to make it all the way up to us.
Well, according to some, they're suggesting that some of these tankers they're seizing were going to be the way they refuel at sea to make the rest of the journey. So they're suggesting that these tankers, they would be able to travel some of the journey, and if they need more fuel, one of these tankers at sea would be. This is what I'm hearing. I'm not saying there's any validity to it. This is what I'm hearing.
That's them making wild conspiracy theories. Talking about it's a chain of. No, it's not like that. Like I said, if it was to that point, they get intercepted like they normally do by the National Guard, which is one of their duties.
So why?
I mean, not the National Guard, the Coast Guard.
So why are you examining this to this level, but MAGA, on the other hand, is celebrating the destruction of these boats? I mean, why do you think there's such a disconnect between? Go ahead.
MAGA pictures themselves as a tough guy. Those are the same people that said during the Iraq War, why don't we just carpet bomb the whole thing and be done with it?
Yeah. There were people saying that. Do you think they're going to want us to carpet bomb Venezuela? I mean, because it does sound like Trump may end up.
I wouldn't be surprised if some of them are championing it. Remember, the people furthest from harm are the biggest ones champion for war.
So what do you sound like you're almost indicating that MAGA is a bunch of warmongers?
MAGA is a bunch of fake tough guys that swear up and down, oh, if anything happens, I'm going to be the one fighting. No, if that's the case, why don't your ass go ahead and enlist in the military? There's plenty of open spots. Apparently, the Hex was talking about. Why don't y'all go ahead and go to that recruitment office and volunteer to go fight?
Fake tough guys. Are we going to have some MAGA that has odds with that? These are the true patriots, if you hear them speak. The fuck around and find out guys, the ones with all of the artillery.
Look at what your boy, some conservatives saying. Talk about liberate Canada. That's supposed to be our allies. Why is he talking about going to fight?
I mean, listen. I mean, Trump just began talking about taking Greenland again as well. So it does sound it does sound like Trump has a target on a few places. But do you think he's going to actually follow through with that? You don't think we're going to actually take Greenland in real life, do you?
No, Congress is not going to let him do that, and people in the military are not going to let him do that.
You mean Congress is going to? You mean Congress is going to stop Trump from doing something?
He would have to do it between now and January of 2027.
That can be arranged. There's plenty of time for Greenland. I mean, once he gets done with Venezuela, there's plenty of time to do that. What if what he is doing, though, James, turns out to be better for this country? What if he ends up taking out Maduro? I mean, he's already seized 2 oil tankers. They're chasing down a third. What if all of a sudden gas dropped down to $1.10 a gallon in this country? Would you give him credit?
For him acting like Putin?
For him doing what's on the best interest of Americans.
For people who talking about something, they're all for democracy and things like that. They're sitting there watching their president act like a dictator, and they're cheering for it. So how are they patriots?
They don't agree with you, James. They don't think Trump is acting like a dictator. They think Trump is putting America first and just trying to make this a stronger country.
Remember what we was talking about yesterday, how we said that they're cult-like? Now, if Obama or Biden was doing something like this, what's the first words that come out their mouth?
It might not be as favorable. They may not be as happy with it. I will just say that. It might not be as favorable.
Not as happy. Right now, I think Trump might have passed Biden on the number of executive orders that he's done this year alone. If he's not passing, he might be close to it.
He has been an executive order administration, but folks.
And what was MAGA doing? They were complaining, talking about he's overreaching his authority.
Yeah.
But Trump doing it, all of a sudden it's okay.
But what about the notion that Trump sees Trump has the right vision for this country, and by him doing things by executive order, it prevents us from being caught up in bureaucratic congressional backlash where it takes all day. He's using his executive powers and getting things done.
But just like they were saying, he has majority in the House and in the Senate. If everything he was doing was okay, his people wouldn't be sitting there talking about I'm resigning.
Yeah, a few of them, but for the most part, MAGA's still held on tight. It ain't too many of them resigning. I mean, MAGA's they're pretty much still. You don't think there's a lot of cracks in the MAGA movement, do you?
It's starting to really show, like, especially when he's going back on like things he said he was going to do. A lot of these guys, like some of his biggest supporters are the ones that's talking about I'm resigning. I can see if it was something that was like more towards the middle, talking about something, you know what, I can't do this. But no, these are some of his hardcore supporters.
Yeah, plus or minus a few disgruntled Epstein. But I'm assuming you're talking about like people like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Her and who's the other one that just said that she was going to resign this too?
You know what?
It's another.
The one over in New York that was running for governor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about her on the show. Yeah, I mean, but she's Congress. Yeah, she was a rep. Yeah, okay, that is 2 of them. That is 2 of them. But do you think there will be any more?
Judging from how things are going, it might be. And then let's not also talk about the fact that Mike Johnson can't seem to keep the House in session. Every time it looks like things ain't going his way, what's the first thing you do? Hey, we're going to adjourn, and we won't come back for like a week. And then if things still look bad, we're going to adjourn and come back for a week.
Mike Johnson is just looking out. I mean, he's trying to he's trying to balance on the basketball.
If Nancy Pelosi even did that one time, MAGA would be calling for her head.
So in other words, you're saying that MAGA's a bunch of hypocrites.
Exactly.
I got to move it on, James. I'm sure I want to hear from some MAGA because I'm sure they're going to disagree with you on a host of things you just said. But
hey, they're more than welcome to disagree with me.
all right, you seen what happened with Pizza Lover. Pizza Lover certainly disagreed with you, and so did the other gentleman that wouldn't come up. But I appreciate you coming through, James. Thank you.
No problem, Tim.
Anytime. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 30,000. We can make that happen if you let your thumbs not be lazy. The program is MAGA friendly as it always is, always shall be. Never ending. MAGA, my preferred guest. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. If Obamacare goes, MAGA goes with it, says Joe Rakestraw. You really think losing Obamacare would be enough to destroy MAGA? I don't know about that. I don't know. I had a girl come on, a woman rather, come on the program the other day. She was MAGA and she said healthcare should be optional anyway. A lot of MAGA thinks that Obamacare is trash. You really believe that if Obamacare goes, MAGA goes with it? That's a strong statement. I don't know if I feel confident with that. User 274 says Obamacare needs to go. Well, looking at the comments, TikTok, the app, China, who is TikTok in this case? Don't know what you're talking about there. Anyway, China didn't like Trump. Russia's with China. Trump better get real fast. Don't know where you're going with that. Who said I main infidel or something that says, what do you say? You're saying that can we get an adult caller? What are you suggesting, that my last caller was not an adult? Don't talk about pardons and Trump after what we just went through with Biden. Why not? If Biden fucks up, does that mean Trump gets a pass to do it too? Because you can keep pointing to Biden? No. If Trump comes along and promises to be a better president, be about America first, get the economy back on track on day one, end the wars that started under Biden in 24 hours, if he promises to do all of that shit, and he becomes an utter failure, there is no defense for Trump by pointing to the belief that Biden was a failure. Then it just means they both failed. Pointing to Biden's failures does not defend anyone that is questioning failures from Trump. It sounds good to bring Biden up, but if Trump is not doing what he promised, bring it up. Well, Biden didn't do what he promised either. Then, okay, they both failed then. That's not a defense for Trump. You said, how can we talk about pardons after Biden? Easily. You can talk about them both. We can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. Somebody in the D Money says, fuck Trump. So you're not a Trump fan, huh? American presidents in my lifetime have generally sucked, says P. Well, the problem is this. If you're not filthy rich, the chances are they're not going to do what's in your best interest. We can talk about race, we can talk about location, we can talk about gender. There's a bunch of boxes you need to check off. If you're not checking off those boxes, they're going to probably suck if they're not operating in your best interest. Blue One Banks, thank you for the hat and mustache. Yeah, appreciate that. Help your boy reach that hat and mustache goal, folks. We'll continue on with the program. Stick the ruler. Good evening, Stick. Welcome to the program. We're talking about apologizing for being white. Not having to apologize for being white anymore. What say you?
Well, this is the thing, Tim. Nobody asked him to apologize, but if he feels that he has to, that's on him. You know, we do have the historical proof that they do need to go around and do what Obama did for him, which is apologize to every fucking body they've ever offended.
Whoa. Wait, who is they first? You said they need to do what Obama did and go around and apologize to. Who is represented by the word they?
They are the people who think like J.D. Vance, that they have to apologize. So if you feel you have to apologize, or you think, or you used to, then you should have.
They don't, but that's the thing though. They don't. Obviously, J.D. Vance is saying we don't. J.D. Vance does not think you have to apologize. That's clearly what he's saying. He's saying that not only do I not have to apologize, but people that think they do need to apologize need to understand they don't need to apologize for shit either.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. For you to even have that idea that you don't need to apologize, for you to have the idea that you might need to apologize, you just gonna need to do the shit. Shouldn't even be a thought in your head. If you didn't need to do it, then you shouldn't be a thought. So either do it or shut the fuck up.
What do you think what are you suggesting they even apologize for?
Well, the atrocities that have occurred across the world when they consider themselves to be white. If you consider yourself to be white during the 60s, you need to apologize.
Okay, so you're talking
Your
about
ass is old as hell, and you was alive during World War I, and you was a part of the N-word party, and I ain't talking the German N-word party. If you was part of that N-word party, you need to apologize.
I want to. What is the N-word party? What part of our history are you referring to that would be designated as the N-word party?
You know, the one that TikTok would like to, the Schmotzies. The Schmotzies party.
We didn't have that we didn't have that in America, did we not?
Oh yes, we did. They was known as skinheads, and they was known as the Triple K, and they was known as David Duke, homeboys with Donald Trump. All that.
Okay. Well,
and now we got JD Vance, second in command, talking about white folks don't need to apologize.
Who's he speaking to? So, because I'm trying to get clarity in this. What is the message in that? Like, who is he speaking to?
The message in that point blank and period is this. It goes along the lines of everybody who voted for Donald Trump, with the exceptions of the minorities, including Blagger and Splagger and anybody else, y'all don't have to apologize for being white. And y'all don't have to apologize basically for being racist anymore. It's out there. Everybody knows what it is. Y'all ain't got to apologize for the shit no more.
Wow.
When they actually should be, because it's not good to be bigoted, prejudiced, and racist. And they all of them.
No, I agree it's not good to be there, but let me put it this way. I got someone that I believe is on the opposing side of this that wants to speak to you. Are you willing to have a civilized conversation with the other side?
As long as they come up and be civilized and actually have some facts, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
But as soon as they come up with their feelings, I can't talk to feelings, because feelings ain't getting you nowhere.
Okay,
feelings right now got us in the conundrum that we in.
So it sounds like you're saying fuck your feelings. I mean, maybe I need to send you a MAGA hat. That's a MAGA slogan.
Well, MAGA was the ones that was talking about, I'm a conservative and I'm trying to conserve Christian values and I'm trying to do this, while at the same time they got some place called Alligator Alley or Alligator Alcatraz. I'm sorry. So like, again, it's feelings. I feel that the economy was bad up under Joe Biden, but I feel that the economy and the country was a lot better when Trump first term. Not wanting to give Barack Obama his credit for how the economy was when Trump, all he had to do was sit back and twiddle his thumbs and play golf like he did.
Hold on, wait a minute.
And then just gave.
You're telling me you don't give Trump any credit at all for the economy under his first term? That's not fair.
Guess what? I back in the day when we used to talk about this, I did. I gave him credit. But now that we see, once he touches things, he's fucking cursed. He's cursed the country. He's fucking cursed. He's fucked it up. Joe had it to where everything was mellowing out, everything was coming down, and here he go with his bullshit and his tariffs. Now, the difference between the first term and this term is policy and is a lot of different things. Because the first term he came in, he rode the wave. He rode the fucking blue wave.
Well, no, wait a minute.
Only thing he gave them was that tax break that actually helped out the rich more than it helped out the middle class and the bottom.
Okay, I'm not going to disagree with you that Trump did not inherit. Trump inherited a good economy from the Obama administration. I agree with that. But I still say that Trump gets credit for the economy under his watch is because if he had inherited a good economy from Obama and then ruined it, we'd be blaming him for it. So he kept it going, and in fact, it was getting better.
Now. That's what we're doing now, Tim. We're blaming him for an economy that was on the up and up, and then he started that bullshit ass tariff shit and fucked it all up.
Yeah.
Like that. Let's speak the truth.
Well, I'm not. Wait. Let me be clear. Yeah, let me be clear. I'm not giving him any sort of credit or accolades for the current economy under his second watch. It is bad. He has not improved Biden's economy at all. So, but I'm saying he inherited a good economy from Obama, and he maintained it, and it was starting to get even better under his watch. So he did a good job his first term, which is why I say that all the time. Most of Trump's.
He did a good.
Go ahead.
He did a good job only because he did nothing. He did in the first term what Congress is doing right now. Nothing. The only thing he did was sign a fucking tax bill. That's it. Tim, you know it and I know it. That's the only thing that we got out of the first term. And then our shit sunsetted and they shit kept going. And now he's trying to get that shit to be even lower.
That's your president. All right, I'm gonna bring this guest on with you. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you guys have this for a minute. Keep it civilized as always.
I'm about to pull up, Jay.
But he has to speak to you. Okay, Jeremy is obviously well known in the program as well. Jeremy, what do you want to say to my guest?
Hello.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, hello.
Okay, so there's a lot of things. Hello, Stick.
Is he getting anything
first
wrong?
I want to say, yeah, first off, he about the economy. When it comes to Obamacare plan was one of the most disastrous things for our healthcare. It made things a lot worse by a lot. It's never economically sound to bring in the government into a private organization like healthcare. One of the biggest reasons why this is because when government gets involved, it does things like what we have in our country, where if you're elderly, you can't be charged more for healthcare or despite your age, which doesn't make any sense because elderly people use healthcare more often, and oftentimes they have more money than younger people do. Well, it makes sense that they would be paying more, and then that extra cost is put on the consumer, the younger people who are unable to save up for that kind of stuff.
Okay, Jeremy. I'm gonna just simply tell you this. That may be your reasoning behind why you think it doesn't work, but all the people that signed up for it, that qualified for it, all the lives that were saved because they had Obamacare and or the Affordable Care Act, you tell them your premise, and then you get a reaction out of them and ask them what they think. Because I'm not. Hold on. I'm not a person that's actually affected, probably just like you're not a person that's probably affected by anything medical at this point. Yeah. Or you may have insurance, and just like I have insurance. But the only difference between you and me is I served. I don't know if you served or not.
I don't claim in service.
He said he didn't know, Jeremy.
What's that?
He said he didn't serve.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's fine. But like I said, I'm not affected, you're not affected, but I would ask people that are affected before I just blatantly put out, this is why it's better. Because a lot of people couldn't afford it. That's why it's called the Affordable Care Act. And the things that Obama put in place help people with existing conditions be able to get Medicaid, Medicare, and or a healthcare provider.
Yeah, let me
put out that it's not better. Like, don't do that, bro. Get your facts straight before you.
Yeah, and let me frame it. Okay, and let me intervene and frame it for you, Jeremy. That is a point to be made. You think that Obamacare is worse for people that didn't have any health care at all?
Yes, because charity and private organizations can do it better, and they have historically.
So before Obamacare came along in 2008. You're saying that the charity was looking out for people that didn't have health care?
Look up the Knights of Columbus. They were one of the best charities, one of the best Catholic charities out there that especially looked after people.
Okay, I'm not asking about Knights of Columbus. I'm asking in America before Obamacare came along, was the charities were they carrying people that didn't have insurance? Was it enough of that out there where you could get help from them as opposed to what Obamacare tried to push through?
Yes. Absolutely. They were. I'll send you some. I'll DM you some data about this. Okay. But one of the things I want to address what Stick just said. Yeah. So one of the things you don't know about what Obamacare did is otherwise you would have mentioned it, is that when Obamacare was implemented, it stopped people. It put higher penalties on people who smoked, but not on people who were morbidly obese. Which makes no sense whatsoever. If you are doing something that it causes your health to go down because of a lifestyle, well, you should pay more. You should have to pay more. Smoker is fine, by all means. You're choosing to destroy your body through a very well proven and unhealthy habits. But why is it that someone
you want to treat the obese folks who, it could be a variety of things, from thyroid to being poor and not being able to afford healthy food. You want to treat them the same way you treat smokers who voluntarily light up?
How is it different? Okay, wait. Let me just calm down for a second. Okay.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Tim,
I am obese. And I'm trying to lose weight. And I'm okay if I pay more because I cost the American taxpayer more. I cost people more money. I need more medication. I should pay more. And I do pay more.
I got a million responses for that, but Stick, I'm going to punt it to you, Stick. If you want me to run it, I'll run it, but I'm going to punt it to you. How do you respond to that? Treat the obese, which could be kids, by the way, treat the obese the same way you treat people who are voluntarily picking up tobacco products. What say you?
Kids can smoke too. What?
Did we lose Stick? Stick, you're on mute.
No, I'm sorry. Say again, what was your question?
Okay, he is saying when it comes to healthcare, you should charge irresponsible people a higher rate, which I don't disagree with, but he is putting obese Americans in the same category as folks who voluntarily use tobacco. And as I stated, people who are obese could be children that really are obese by no fault of their own. I mean, some people live in poor neighborhoods where they can't get access to food that is going to, keep them healthy, like salads and, and fresh green leafy vegetables and shit like that. Everybody can't get access to that. They can't afford it. But he's saying put them in the same category as tobacco users. You agree?
Oh, hell no. For the same reason what you just said. I mean, some people are born, big boned, as they like to say back in the day. Some people are born that way, and obesity is not always a healthy choice. Sometimes it's DNA.
Yeah. So that's not true.
You really believe that?
Hey, bro, I did not interrupt you. Please let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
Please. Thank you, sir. So with the whole thing with Obama, at least he put a foot forward. He didn't have a concept of a plan. He actually had a plan. Whether it was part Romney and then he had his people put some of it together, you could just say it was a bipartisan plan. It didn't have to be Obama's plan. It could have just been everybody agreed that this looked like it'll work. Now, could you improve it? Yes, you can, but it takes everybody, just like it took everybody to put their stamp on it and vote it in to get it approved. Apparently, it was working until you have people in every industry. I don't care what it is. You have people like Mitch McConnell and telling you, I'm going to fight this president every which way I can to make sure he's a lame duck president or a one-term president. Same thing with the Obamacare. They don't have a plan, but they're so jealous of it, they're just trying to get rid of it, let it sunset, and then who does it hurt? It doesn't hurt any of them. It doesn't hurt me. Apparently, it doesn't hurt Jeremy. It hurts the people that could not afford medical health care.
But he says Stick, he says there are charities that would provide health care to everybody that didn't have it.
Well, why the hell we ain't doing that now?
It's a good point. That is a good point.
I mean, if we got all this money, why we ain't doing that shit now?
A lot of times that's because of restrictions that the laws actually have put in on who can provide and who can't.
There's no law against giving people health care. What are you talking about?
There are laws about how you can qualify to be a healthcare provider.
No, you just well, wait a minute. So what are you saying? There's a charity that's going to give people surgeries and all kinds of other shit.
There's a chair when it comes to insuring people. There are laws about who can be insured and who can and how you can qualify to be an insurance company or an insurance organization of any kind.
I'm just going to say it to you like this, Jeremy. When I was your age, for instance, it was this was slightly before Obamacare came along, and when I first came out with my first college degree. I worked at a lot of temp jobs because I didn't have the experience that you needed. You needed experience before people would hire you. So I worked a lot of temp jobs to get experience in electronics and in telecommunications, and a lot of those were contracting jobs that did not come with any type of health benefits. I never heard once somebody say, "Well, if you call this number, this group will give you health care. Here's a charity to call." Well, in my neighborhood, nobody was offering that. So I'm really baffled as to how you're suggesting that there is these charities out here that will cover everybody, because I don't hear anybody talking about them but you.
That's because a lot of people don't do the research.
When we did have stuff like that in the hood, Tim, it was people doing it called like the Black Panthers, and you know what happened to them. We listen. It sounds good, Jeremy. And we've been hearing this for a long time, but I'm just here to tell you, J.D. Vance says something that should let you know we're going the wrong direction. For the simple point is, since the conception of this country, I'm not talking about the inhabitants of the country, because there was people here before, they landed on Plymouth Rock. But what I am saying is, since they came here, it's been nothing but for the indigenous especially, it's been nothing but turmoil. It's been nothing but, in a sense, bloodshed.
I gotta push back. I know I'm going to get accused of fluffing here.
Hold on, Tim.
I gotta push back on you, but go ahead.
Hold on, Tim. I'm gonna go further than that. I can go since probably the beginning of time, right? I can go with Adam and Eve's son, Cain and Abel. I can go with Ham and Saul. I can go all.
I get that, but what I'm going to tell you is, before the white man came to America, the Native Indians were killing each other too. Tribes were fighting against tribes. They were enslaving each other. I mean, they were doing that too.
How do you know that?
Because the history, the inaccurate history of the noble savage. It's just that it's
so again, how do we know that? If the Seminoles, right, tell you, think about what I'm finna say. You can't kill what you don't eat. What does that mean? That means you're not eating humans. So you're not gonna.
Yeah, but the Seminoles are only one tribe, though. Stick.
Yeah, have you never heard? Did you never heard of?
But what I'm trying to tell you is, hold on. But what I'm trying to tell you is, that was a similar mindset of thinking between tribes.
No, that's not true at all.
There was what you're telling me? There was no conquering going on at all between the tribes.
Yeah, what happened to the Pawnee? What happened to
when we're talking about tribes, if you want to talk about people who are known for barbaric or warish things, you may be talking about the Mayans, right? You may be talking about the Aztecs because of the way that they worship and or certain things that they did at those pyramids.
The Comanches. Listen.
Sick. I got a question for you. Who did we learn scalping from?
Who learn scalping from?
Who did the white man learn scalping from?
Man, you know how long they've been scalping people?
The tomahawk.
No. Hold on, time out. They've been scalping people way long before the tomahawks.
That's not true.
It is true.
There's no historical evidence of that.
I'll give you some stuff. A lot of torture techniques did not come from the Americas, did not come from the Asians. It came from the Europeans. The Europeans, I'm not saying you, Jeremy, because I don't know your heritage.
To be honest, I don't know either. I'm adopted, so I don't really fucking know.
Okay, well, the Europeans, the word slave came from the Slavic people.
Yeah.
Okay, he went on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, but the Europeans is the Slavic people that's where the word slave come from. That's where the first
But
slaves
let
came
me
out
ask
of.
you
See,
before we continue. I'm gonna ask you this, Stick. Do you think America would be better off if the white man had never came here?
I really do. I really think that certain things may not have happened, such as um, the quick progression, because even though they were barbaric and the things that they did and how they did things, um, it brought a lot of brilliant minds here as well, and that's why we got cure for polio and different stuff like that. And I'm not saying that they're completely all bad, but what I am telling you is they left a fucked up trail behind them. Yeah. It was just a bad history.
Progress can be messy. Stick, I'm gonna have to drop you. I want to ask Jeremy a couple more questions because he came on after you. But Stick, I mean, listen, progress can be messy. Some would say that, listen, the way the white man started things was horrible. But at the end of the day, we're a superpower. We're civilized. We're responsible for all sorts of inventions. Some folks are going to say we're better off that he came here, even when you look at what he done to us, which is horrible.
And like I said, Tim, when I look back, like I said, it was atrocious the way this country had been started. But had it not had the history that it is, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But the problem that we have with that is the black community, especially the African American community, does not get its just due. Everybody else can be offended and hurt and thrown in internment camps. Oh, we're going to give you some reparations. But when it comes to us, for whatever reason, it's like, hell no. We don't even know what that number is, because 9 times out of 10, it'll fucking bankrupt America. So I'll just end like this, Jeremy. Before you say something is bad, if you're not on it, if it doesn't help you or affect you, find out from the people that it does. And I land.
All right, Stick. Appreciate you coming through, Jeremy. Now I want to talk to you about a different topic. You see JD Vance on the monitor. Did you hear? We've got to play this quote.
Yeah.
Okay. Apologizing for being white. Have you ever? Now you're Colombian, but I'm assuming some folks probably mistake you as white, right?
Yeah, I'm light skinned, but right next to my mom, who adopted me when I was an infant, I look like a different race. I'm tan, but I'm white passing. I could pass for Italian.
Okay.
Maybe like Sicilian.
Have you ever apologized for being able to pass for Italian?
No, I have not, but trust me, there's plenty. It's mostly an online thing because the average black person, I don't think, wants an apology from white people for being white, because I don't think the average black person is unreasonable, unlikable cunt.
So what the hell is JD Vance talking about?
Because it's becoming a more and more prevalent thing, especially in the online sphere, where people are saying that you being white alone is by itself of like original sin, like Adam and Eve eating the apple for the first time, and that their very being is sinful by itself.
I mean, let's just be honest. The way America was founded, the original sin was being born as a person of color, right? I mean, that's what condemned you to a life of miserable treatment, was being born a person of color in this country.
No, not anymore. Not for sure.
No, I know not anymore, but let's be clear. America was founded in 1776, and I would say up to at least 1976 that was true. Would it not be?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely it was like a cascading, gradual wiping away of bad history. So and the farther down in the history you go, the more kind and equal black people were treated. But I'd say 1976 was probably the minimum beginning time where there was true equality.
I mean, because we're in my lifetime now. I was born in 1976, so that's how. Like I said, we were founded in 1776, and this went on so long that now we're in a period of time where I was actually alive. That's how long that went on. And
yeah.
And we're going with the notion that it's not happening today. But I think everybody.
Wait, you were born in this. Wait, you were born in the 70s?
Yeah, I'm an old ass motherfucking man.
Oh, okay. You're younger than my dad.
All right, okay. I'm an old man though, but no, but so basically what you're saying though is indeed what Stick and others might say is that the original sin in this country was being born with extra melanin in your skin.
Yeah, well, here's my retort to that. They don't hold the same kind of accountability towards Arabs.
What do you mean?
The Arab slave trade, and more specifically the Islamic slave trade, was way more brutal. And yes, for those who don't,
it's out of this country, Jeremy. We don't focus on
and you want to know something else? We stopped it. The Barbary slave traders were stopped.
Yeah, but we don't learn. But you went to world history. Like, well, on September 11, we say never forget. Nobody brings up that Egypt got bombed by Israel or something on September 11. I don't know why when we're talking about the African American slave trade in this country, we start bringing up stuff that happened internationally. That's not really relevant to this. You're bringing up the Arab slave trade.
I'm saying be consistent.
How? Because people don't know nothing about that. They don't even teach. They don't teach anything about the Arab slave trade in American schools. Consistent. Why?
Well, because we should know about world history as well as local history. Now, we should definitely know more about the American chattel slavery, because that was our issue, and we should know more about our own country than other countries. But it's this idea that white people were uniquely evil when it came into slavery is ridiculous. It existed in almost every culture, including African cultures, and is perpetrated heavily. It's on like unbelievably diabolical levels in the Arab world, and white people were slaves in the Arab world too.
Yeah, and Dincal, appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Well, you're right. There were people of all backgrounds being enslaved, but that would be just like terrorism in this country. We in this country make it sound like the Muslim community, the Arab community are the only ones capable of terroristic actions. You don't hear anybody refer to the KKK as terrorists, do you? Even though they absolutely were. So, I mean, so sometimes the way we teach history in this country is going to pertain to what's going on in this country. You're not going to teach a bunch of Americans about the Arab slave trade. That's just not. We don't teach Americans really about any of the goings-ons in other countries. You want to teach Americans about terrorist actions in other countries? Maybe some of them that we did? No, you're not going to talk about that.
Oh, I think we should talk about all of America's sins. And here's the thing: I have nothing against this idea that white people should learn in schools about the chattel slaves and what we did to them, and the North Atlantic slave trade, and the triangle that we had going from Africa to the Americas, as then to South America, and then back to Africa. We should teach that, yeah. But
I would tell you this though: before you go down the road of teaching world history, first start out by teaching history in this country accurately. I'll give you an example. I don't know how many of you folks have seen the Dave Chappelle special on Netflix recently, where he talks about Jim Jeffries and Jack Johnson, the Great White Hope and all. There's a whole lot of Americans that don't even know that. They don't know about the fact that when this black guy beat up this Great White Hope, white mobs went around major American cities beating up and killing black people. There's enough of this history that has not been taught accurately. Why would you go to Arab countries and start teaching their history when you're not even telling the truth about what happened here?
Well, first off, we should teach that stuff. But secondly, the whole point of what J.D. Vance was saying was that white people do not have original sin. You're not evil because you have lack of melanin in your skin. Like Tim, imagine if I said that about you. Imagine if I said, Tim, because as you were born black, you were automatically going to be a gangbanger. There's nothing you can do about it.
Ain't that what they say when they say it's in our culture? They are saying that right now. Go to any video on YouTube where black people are committing crimes or arguing with police or fighting in a Burger King somewhere, and you'll see that in the comments. It's in their culture. They are saying that right now. They're saying it right now as we speak.
But what J.D. Vance is talking about goes farther than that. Okay, he's saying you're not sinful because of your skin color. Okay, if someone was talking about white culture, that'd be a different thing because culture can change. Your skin color can't.
So how about the fact? What if I'm born in Somali? Does that automatically make me garbage, or am I capable of changing?
You are capable of changing, but the culture around you will probably influence how you behave in the future, unless you rise above it, which is more than possible.
Okay, so that applies. So that would apply to a white person being born in a racist family too, then, right? The culture around
absolutely.
them. Okay,
absolutely. You want to know one of the most gangster politicians of all time? His name was Marcellus Cassius Clay. Yes, who?
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, you know about him, right? He came from a slave-owning family, and he went to college and came back rejecting slavery.
You're saying Muhammad Ali, the boxer?
No. Cassius Marcellus Clay is who the boxer was named after.
Oh, I don't know enough about it. I can't argue with that. I don't know enough about that.
He was, the politician who was born way before the Muhammad Ali was ever born. He's actually who the guy was named after, and he grew up in a slave-owning family. And after he went to college and heard a bunch of sermons and speeches about why abolitionism is the way to go, he sold off a huge amount of his property, and he freed all of his slaves.
Fair enough. All right, well, listen. I'm riding with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, he was a great spokesperson for what was right. So I'm right. I got to move it on. But so at the end of the day, you do agree with JD Vance.
Yes, Tim. Your melanin doesn't make you an evil gangbanger. Just like my
I agree with you, but I sure wish this motherfucker was around about 100 years ago saying that shit. All of a sudden now, because whites are getting attacked for their race, he suddenly wants to come up and play superhero. I wish he had been around about 100 years ago. I got to move it on, though, Jeremy. Thank you.
Have a great one, Tim.
You too. Real quick in the comments, by the way, tap the screen. Someone actually sent me a super chat on YouTube. I apologize, but YouTube would not let me go back and read whatever it was, so I can't find it. Compared to the rest of the world, the United States is a very young country, very young, and has changed for the better sooner than the rest. I mean, listen, it's an opinion, Mike. I mean, you're saying that America has changed for the better sooner than the rest. I mean, listen, I've lived in Australia. Australia is also a very young country. And I think the Australians have a lot less atrocities on their resume than America does. So when you say we change for the better, it depends on, to me, what happened in Iraq under the Bush administration, responsible for killing as many as 1 million Arabs. I don't know. I don't see that as changing for the better. I don't even see what we're doing in Venezuela as changing for the better. Even if Trump is trying to prevent dangerous, harmful narcotics from coming in this country, he actually does have options as opposed to just killing people. He's actually killing people as a choice. He actually has ways to stop what they're doing that does not involve death. He's choosing to kill people. I don't know if I see the changing for the better part. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it, because we are doing a lot of things, such as getting involved in other countries, telling them, well, we want you to be capitalist. We don't want you to be communist, or we want you to treat your citizens this way, not that. We're getting involved in other governments. I mean, that's what Trump is saying about Maduro right now. We're telling other countries who they should have as leaders. I don't know if that's changing for the better. So I gotta push back on that. And we've done that. We've had a bunch of presidents that have done that, gotten involved in wars with other countries and all kinds of shit like that. I don't see that as changing for the better. And certainly the way we're treating immigrants right now is absolutely not for the better. We're doing this for America first, remember? So we're like the wealthiest country on earth, saying we're not going to share anymore. We're only going to take care of ourselves. Fuck everybody else. I don't see that as changing for the better. Looking in the comments, and tap the screen, get the likes on up to 50,000. We'll go to the box. And one and only Dencal, good evening. Welcome to the program. I'll just say your country better than go home. He's now targeting Colombia. Yeah, I mean, I don't see that as changing for the better. Dencal, quit apologizing for being white, says JD Vance. What say you?
I don't know what the context. Why would he say that? Like, what he hasn't explained. Like, who is there a vast number of people?
Well,
feeling the need to. Like, I don't even understand why he would even say that.
This is a minute of it. I mean, he does give a little bit of explanation, and he goes beyond just apologizing for being white.
Like the left, we stand against treating anybody, and I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs.
It's only a few seconds longer.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. And if you're an Asian, you don't have to talk around your skin color when you're applying for college, because we judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity and things they can't control. We don't persecute you for being male, for being straight, for being gay, for being anything. The only thing that we demand is that you be a great American patriot, and if you're that, you're very much on our team.
You want to be on this team?
I thought we were all American. What team is he talking about?
That's what he's saying. He's saying as long as you play by the rules, we don't judge you based on your skin color, whether you're gay, we don't judge you whether you're Asian. I mean, it sounds like
we gotta know what the rules are first. Like, play by the rules. What rules?
Be a patriot. Show love.
Yeah, what is a patriot? Like, we can keep on going down this road. Like, what exactly is he saying? I'm trying to figure it out. Like, he's saying you don't have to apologize to who? I don't know anybody who's just going around saying y'all need to apologize. Like, I don't get it.
Well, I think Stick says something about you need to apologize if your ancestors was involved. I mean, there are people who believe that the white community need to atone for what their ancestors did. There are people that believe that.
Yeah, yes. I also believe that there should be like a formal apology from the country. Like there are formal apologies that have been given, like the formal apologies to the Japanese who were put in concentration camps.
Would that be enough, though, Dencal?
It's not enough.
So why do it? Why do if you apologize from the Oval Office as president to let's say the black community for what you do, you give a formal apology. You and I both know the reparations talk is going to continue. They're going to say you did all this shit for everybody else. All you gave us is word salad. I mean, we wouldn't be appreciative of that.
So what you're saying is they shouldn't do it because it's right. They shouldn't do it because then they will be held responsible for the outcome of what they're apologizing for. Yes, I think a formal apology is the beginning of that conversation. Now, the reparations part, there's many different ways that can be done. It don't have to just be cash. It could be ancestral education, free tuition. It could be tax breaks. It could be all kinds of stuff.
You're smelling like a civil war in here. You're talking. You really think? Do you think the white community? Because that's where they represent a lot of the federal tax dollars where that money would come from. Do you think they would allow that to happen? Reparations for African Americans.
Well, that's probably the part that they need to apologize for, because you're saying that they themselves would not allow the right thing to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you going around saying, yeah, fuck that, we're not gonna apologize and give these people they just do because they gonna want too much.
But how do you respond to folks who say, look, slavery ended hundreds of years ago. You're not a slave. I'm not a slave. The people who were entitled to the reparations, they're long dead. Why the hell should we have to pay you when you can get a job and earn just as much as me? That's what some folks are going to say.
Okay, well then, if somebody owes me money and then I die, I guess my kids shouldn't get shit, right? I guess my grandkids, if my kids ain't around, my grandkids shouldn't get shit.
It's inherently how we do with property and stuff. It goes to the next of kin. So just saying, well, because they gone now, because they was the ones who did not provide that relief, because the relief was actually there before Kennedy got, got pew-pewed. And then the person that came after him, because they had already started distributing the 40 acres and a mule to people. When the next president got in, he rescinded that and kicked those people off of their 40 acres and resumed giving those people back their land. So it already started to happen, but it was stopped. And so why can we say now? Well, it's just been too long.
Well, I'll tell you, not only with the argument of it's been too long, Miriam Johnson is even more passionate in the comments. He says, listen, we're fucking done with this. I mean, in other words, if you show up asking for reparations, they're going to, look, we're fucking done with this. I don't even know why this is coming up. That's what...
right.
So I mean...
Yeah, and Miriam is saying that, and Miriam is the type of person that should be apologizing. Because her shitty behavior...
That's a man, I believe. I believe that's a guy, but go ahead.
Because their shitty behavior towards other people who have been abused and raped and murdered and taken advantage of for centuries. Got the nerve to say, we done with it. See, they want to take credit for some stuff, but then they want to be like, well, I ain't had nothing to do with it. Just like what's the name was just on here talking shit. Jeremy was just on shit talking about we. Motherfucker, you ain't got nothing to do with this conversation. You're from over there. You live in one of those, what we call a shithole country over here. Why the fuck is he on here talking about what we did? Oh, I was adopted. I don't know where the hell I'm from. Well, shut the fuck up then. He really said we when you was talking about if white people should apologize. We. What the fuck? That's what's wrong with that damn coat. That's what's wrong with that coat.
Well, Jeremy does say he is no longer MAGA. You're killing him. Real quick in the comments, Handsome Conservative says, we don't owe him or anyone else an apology. We're not guilty of anything. Coming from the Handsome Conservative. What say you?
Hey, we just had this conversation about the last person. They want to take credit for some shit, but they don't want to take credit for the slaughtering and all the other shit. But when it comes down time to pay up, to be responsible, to take accountability, oh, we ain't doing shit. But then when you say, well, the people was slaughtered and murdered and stuff, well, I ain't had nothing to do with that. They can't have it both ways. Either it's them or it ain't them.
But let me ask it to you this way, because I mentioned that even if a president, I won't say the president, because we know Trump don't even apologize to people like his wife and family. So I'm gonna say even if a president did apologize to the black community for what has happened, and you admitted that it would just be a step in the right direction. But I'm going to follow it by even asking you this. Do you think reparations, even if they gave the African-American community reparations, do you think that would be enough to shut the African-American community up about what happened? Because I'm going to submit to you that I don't think there's anything that the white community could do to stop the black community from blaming them for what happened.
Well, there's one thing for us to be thinking about whether people will want more or not, and that's probably true. But the fact is, you do something about it, then you have the ability to say, look, we tried, we did something. You can't do nothing and then be talking about, well, whatever we give ain't gonna be enough. That's not a logical argument to have with somebody. Well, whatever we give you ain't gonna be enough, so we just ain't gonna do shit. Because the damage is still there. The historical damage of black people as a culture and a community is still there. Whether they want to, Jeremy want to get up here, around 1990 is when everything was officially fair. Man, shut the fuck up. I can show him some shit from last year where goddamn banks and shit was caught redlining black people. Don't tell me the shit's over with. When this man is out here, when the Supreme Court done went and said, we can, you guys can go ahead and just jack people up because of their speaking ability, because because of the type of labor they do, landscaping. That's a direct.
But I'm going to tell you, I don't think that there is anything that we could ever do in this country that would galvanize white people more than trying to force them to pay reparations to black people. I mean, I think that because I got people in my comments right now that's saying UK Shaky said it would cause a fucking civil war. I don't know about a civil war, but I think it would cause a hell of a lot of outrage. I mean, I can't think of anything that would galvanize the white community more than being forced to make a tone for the sins of the past. There's a lot of folks that don't want to.
And you are correct. And you are correct. And I do not ever expect for them to do that. But I am talking the truth when I say what is supposed to be right and just in our country. I know they won't. Look, a lot of those people will give up. They about to give up their own goddamn health care. These motherfuckers ain't got a pot to piss in or window to throw it out of. And they side with motherfuckers that's like, you just don't really deserve. This motherfucker got up here and said if you're fat, you should be charged more. What the hell?
You really were listening. Yeah. But listen, I don't agree with him on that comment, but I understand the avenue he's going down. He's saying that if you're doing things irresponsible, like if you got insurance and you're not wearing a seatbelt, that's going to have an adverse effect with your insurance company covering. You're doing something that's negligent. He is saying that if you're not eating healthy, which can lead to a variety of ailments like I'm dealing with, such as high blood pressure or cholesterol or some of this other crazy shit. He's saying that if you're not eating right, they should charge you more to insure you because you're being negligent with your health. Now he's comparing it to tobacco smokers, which is pretty strong, but what's your opinion on it?
Look, I don't even want to be up here debating some shit that Jeremy said because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He has no idea what health insurance was like before the ACA. He has no understanding that was the biggest amount of people filing bankruptcy in America was anytime somebody had a major accident in their home, they were fucked. Yeah. You could have insurance where it would be like you would have an 80-20 or even a 90-10 payout. You go to the hospital, you in a car accident, you've been in there 2 weeks, you get a $2 million damn bill, and you got to pay 10 or 20%.
Right.
You fucked.
People don't even have the 10%. That is
they
absolutely
don't understand
true.
What the catastrophic cap that has been put on there when they be like, oh, I got a $7,000 deductible. They saying that, if you pay $7,000, they got to pay the rest for the rest of the damn year. It don't matter what it is. People have they have no understanding about how people were just denied insurance. Like you got sick and you had a heart attack. That was it. You couldn't get insurance from nobody else. You were just fucked. They don't understand how their kids used to come off of their insurance at 18. And that's your kids.
Also, there's a couple things. You're talking about the pre-existing condition. You're talking about keeping children until they're 26. Another thing that people don't realize is that I was about to say something I wanted to throw in there, but the fact that you mentioned going bankrupt. I mean, I think under the Obama administration, they have made it so that healthcare bills cannot destroy your credit and make you bankrupt like that. I mean, because all of that was happening before this stuff came along.
Trump repealed that. Remember where your medical bills couldn't go onto your credit?
Right.
He repealed that. So now you cannot get fucking a car loan or a home loan or whatever because you got fucking sick. These people have no idea what they're talking about. They've been listening to these people on TV tell them it don't work, it's falling apart and all of this stuff. The reason why it's falling apart is because Trump stripped all of the shit in it that used to make it work. The mandatory where you had to have insurance, because they don't understand how collective bargaining works. The more people you have together, you can go to the insurance company where you can say, look, you're going to have price controls and we're going to give you 150 million customers to take care of. That way you can take care of the sick all the way down to the non-sick. It balances out. Yes, the non-sick are paying insurance. They're not getting sick, but that helps the ones at the top that are getting sick. They can't really afford it. That's how negotiating works. Them coming out talking about, well, we just gonna give money to the people and What does it look like me going to Aetna by myself trying to negotiate some damn prices?
Right. I also disagree with him vehemently on the notion that there's some kind of there was some kind of charities around that I've never heard of. Real quick in the comments, somebody is also saying repeat after me 4.3 GDP in defense of President Trump, because it came out that the GDP numbers are higher than they thought. I just want to say real quick, the GDP, kind of like the stock market, I don't care how great that is. The average American is not going to feel that. That's like telling the average American how great the stock market is doing when they don't own fucking stock. I mean, people understand grocery prices, gas prices, the price of energy for their home. Telling the average American what the GDP is irrelevant. That ain't gonna make, that does nothing to your life. So even though the GDP rate is sounding like it's fairly positive under Trump, that ain't gonna affect the average guy. I mean, am I getting that wrong, Denko?
No, I mean, it's... Listen, first of all, I'm going to preface this statement with, I don't fucking believe those numbers. He kicked out the people who produced the numbers.
Right.
He withheld almost 2 months worth of information, and then he comes out and then he puts out these numbers talking about, oh, inflation shrunk down to 2.7%. After you withhold almost 2 months worth of information, and then when we look at the numbers, there were certain categories that you withheld in order to be able to get to 2.7. So I don't believe that or the GDP. You can look at those damn employment numbers and tell you cannot lose hundreds of thousands of fucking jobs, but then produce more in the economy. I don't believe those numbers. And even if they were correct, it goes back to what you're saying. What does that matter to a motherfucker that live in West Virginia who live up in the holler?
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers don't get nobody is really getting a benefit just because we say the GDP is higher. Nobody gets a benefit because he said we brought in $20 trillion. Nobody's benefiting from that shit. So I don't understand why somebody who ain't getting shit is on here bragging about some shit where they ain't getting nothing.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that they're citing, yeah, if you're among the 1%, I mean, if listen, if you got a retirement plan that's stock laden, yeah, hearing the stock market is up may mean a little bit to you, but that's kind of where it really is. That kind of is where it ends with most Americans. If they own stock, it's usually in the form of a 401k or something, and that shit you're not going to touch for years. But in terms of what is affecting the day-to-day life of Americans, the stock market and the GDP ain't it. It's just not. You're using irrelevant shit to tell people the market is doing great. Because as you and I are discussing, when you go to the groceries, how much you're paying. When you try to buy an apartment or a home, what is your interest rate? That's the stuff that people can feel now. GDP, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Right. And did you hear about you heard about the Supreme Court in Illinois, right?
No, what?
They said he didn't have the right to deploy the National Guard in Illinois.
Yeah, they said that happened in D.C. too, did it not?
All of this shit is fucking unraveling. While they sitting up there talking about how great a job he's doing.
All of that stuff, you kind of wonder when, in legal terms, they say fruit from the poisonous tree. So any type of enforcement that was done by the National Guard, legally, you can throw it out. Let's say the National Guard did arrest you for something or did point out something you done wrong. Just like if a cop arrests you and that cop had no right to be there, it's fruit from the poisonous tree. The whole case goes away. So if they're all illegally in Illinois, illegally in D.C., kind of wonder how much shit is going to end up getting overturned.
Right, and this is all part of this shadow docket. But like these things are coming down to a head now, and look, they've been getting away with a lot of shit. They've been breaking a lot of fucking laws and everything.
Any accountability? Do you foresee any accountability? If you're saying they're breaking laws, do you see anybody?
For him. Not for him. We've already moved past him having any accountability. And short of him, when he on his way out, if he does just say, "Look, everybody who was in my administration, is getting a pardon," I don't see any accountability for those people too. But I do see the next group of people coming in Congress changing a whole bunch of shit. through the legislative process.
There's something, I don't know this. I want to get your opinion. I don't know if you know it or not either, or if there's any legal eagles in the audience. But let me ask you, let's say someone, part of his administration or somebody that Trump is favorable with, commits a crime that is not only a federal crime, but it's also a state crime. And Trump offers that person a pardon on the way out. Can the state still go after them?
Yes, yeah, it's separate. They already figuring that out. You remember what, 2 weeks ago he declared that Tina Peters was getting a pardon.
Yeah, he's trying to get her out of She's trying to get her out of custody in Colorado.
And the damn governor told him to go take a long walk on a short pier.
Wow. So if that's the case, people like Holman and Nick and Kristi Noem, I'm certain that the people they're over, being ICE and Homeland Security, are committing all kinds of state crimes. When they're violating people's Bill of Rights, grabbing people off the street, I'm sure they're committing all sorts of state crimes in the process with ICE.
Right, but I don't know. As them being federal employees, I think that their jurisdiction. I don't think the states could necessarily prosecute them as them being under the executive branch. So anything that they get accused of or get prosecuted for will have to be on the federal level. I don't think that they could, as government employees, be taken to state.
So apparently he's probably on the cusp of leaving office with some historically large pardons. Like, I pardon all of ICE and customs officials. I mean, that's what he's going to have to leave the office and say, I pardon all of this group. I want to pardon all of the FBI, all of the ATF.
And the craziest part about it is him going after Biden.
Right.
Biden's power, talking about the auto pen, when we know he used the auto pen to pardon all of the January 6 people. Ain't no way he sat down and pardoned 1,500 people with his own signature. We know he used the auto pen.
Yeah, his phrase was "fuck it, let them all out." So I guess he signed one.
He's pardoning people where he said, I don't even know who the people is. That's the exact same thing he's trying to say. Biden doesn't know the people, but he gets on TV and was like, hey.
Yeah,
they told me, Biden, illegally prosecuted him, so I just let him out.
That's your president. Then, Kel, I got to move it on. Sound like you got a phone call, but that's the president, 3 more years. This is what we're riding with.
Hey, one quick last thing.
Sure.
The thing that's crazy about these these Epstein files is that all of the damn perpetrators have been redacted, but the victims have not been redacted. That's the weirdest.
I don't think the Trump administration gives a fuck about the victims on that. I think that they don't want any they don't want any members of the elite society to be innocent victims. He's talking about protecting people, but it's usually rich dudes. I don't think he gives a fuck about those girls.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the MAGA people who've been supporting him, I just want to make sure they can't say they didn't know.
I don't think they give a fuck about it either. They care about Trump surviving and leading this great nation down the path of greatness. They don't care nothing about that. I gotta go, Dick. Gotta go.
All right, take care.
Appreciate it. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Get the likes on up to 60,000. Show proof you was arrested related to J6 and you'll get a pardon, says Chris. I don't think Trump. Listen, Trump is a transactional guy. If you rolling with Trump, to some degree, he's rolling with you. As long as rolling with you doesn't put him in jeopardy, he will look out for you. I mean, the January 6 folks, the fake electors, all of them folks that were trying to further his cause, he's looking out for them. I mean, he is like that. That's why a lot of people are willing to put a lot on the line for Trump, because if you do, he will look out for you. A lot of folks are getting wealthy because they riding with Trump. So, but like I said, if things start to go south, don't expect him to put himself at risk to defend you. Right now, he's president. He's not putting anything at risk to do it. But yeah, I'm curious to see what ends up happening with state charges on a lot of these people. Anyway, looking in the comments, this is so stupid, says P City or Peep City, says this is so stupid. The amount of black pages and when they release them files is so absurd, and stupid. It's a joke, bro. It's so sad. If he wasn't in it, they wouldn't have to do that. Look, I'm not going to say Trump is, guilty of anything when it comes to the Epstein stuff, but I do agree with what Peep City said. Why are you redacting so much shit? I think even all the way from people who despises President Trump to people who really love and adore Trump, I think everybody acknowledges the only reason we're not getting all this information is because of Trump. Everybody acknowledges that Trump is the one. Trump is the almost single-handedly. He is the one that's preventing you from getting access to all the information in the Epstein files. He is doing that single-handedly. So I don't know whether or not he's guilty, and I see in the comments further Grace said he is moving like a guilty man. Hard to deny that. Really hard to deny that. Not only is he really keeping the files under wraps, we still don't know why Ghislaine Maxwell is in minimum security. That has never been explained. Why did you upgrade the quality of this woman's life so significantly? And then when asked, would you pardon her, your response was, I haven't thought about it yet, but I could. None of that has been explained. But that's also why I'm suggesting that I don't think MAGA cares about this shit. Because if a liberal did something like that, remember the liberals are the ones that give bad people a slap on the wrist and they're not tough on crime. We bring up folks that have committed violent crimes that should have been incarcerated from something they did in the past as a target on liberal judges and judges that are soft on crime all the time. They're not saying anything on this. Ghislaine Maxwell is a bad woman. There's no denying it. She's a bad person. And Trump has put her in minimum security. They would be all over any liberal judge that took somebody that is convicted of doing all of the shit that she did and put her in minimum security with no explanation. Yet they're not criticizing Trump for doing it at all. So I don't think MAGA really gives a damn about this stuff. I think it's a 90-10 issue. I think that MAGA favors what Trump is doing for America, so much so that they're going to look at the Epstein shit as, look, 90% of the things this guy is doing for this country are fantastic. They're great. I'm not going to throw him under the bus for the other 10. So I think they look at the Epstein stuff as a 90-10 issue. They're not going to throw him under the bus for Epstein. Real quick looking in the comments, and thank you there, Forever C10 says, it's just like the lady last night was telling her husband he has to vote for Trump for no tax on tips and have to save the country, and then he saw the light. Yeah, but she's rare and very few and far between. You heard her state last night. She knows a lot of MAGA, and not one of them has changed their minds like she did. So that's how few and far between that is. In the comments, Jeff Campbell says, you people are so stupid motherfuckers. What do you say? You people are so stupid motherfuckers. Best president you'll ever see. Instead of the divider in chief and moron Biden and the whore dingbat Harris, you motherfuckers are stone cold stupid. Okay, let me see if I can break that down, because I get that you don't like Biden and Harris, but I don't see what you're offering beyond that. Jeff Campbell, you're saying that, okay, you people are stupid motherfuckers. We get that. I understand what you're saying there. You're saying best president you'll ever see. Are you suggesting that President Trump is the best president that stupid motherfuckers will ever see? Explain your point, Jeff, because I'm not getting that. But you say the best president you'll ever see instead of the divider in chief and the moron Biden. So you're indicating that President Biden was the divider in chief and that Trump is the best president? So after being divided by Biden, here comes Trump with unity on his mind? Is that what I'm hearing? That Trump is the one that's coming in to unify everybody? And then you follow up by saying, and the whore dingbat Harris. This is something a lot of people bring up. Look, if a woman sleeps with everybody, she's a whore or slut. If a man does it, all of the hoes that Trump got in his past, you gonna bring up that Harris is a whore? I mean, the guy's on audio bragging about grabbing women by the pussy. You really gonna bring up that Harris is a whore when you're voting for one? Let me know, because I'm pretty sure that Trump has a whole lot more a whole lot more sex partners than Harris could ever dream of. You calling Harris the whore. Okay, unless you got some kind of chauvinistic point of view where it's all right if a guy does it, but not all right if a woman does it. But yeah, I'm certain that Trump has done a whole lot more fucking than Kamala Harris. Anyway, let me go back to the box because he brags about this shit. He used to hang around Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion. Dude, my taxes are lower. The Democrats just raised taxes and Trump lowered them by nearly 10%. That's it. Oh, I think groceries are affecting people more than lowering their taxes by 10%. I mean, if you're making $20 an hour and they lower your taxes by 10%, that ain't doing shit for people at the bottom. Taxes? Anyway, let me go back to the box. Who is the one that cheated on all his wives, including Melania? Yeah, if you're going to, being a whore, as you put it, or a politician, sleeping around is a concern, and you voted for Trump, something is wrong with you. I mean, because he literally brags about doing the shit you're chastising Kamala Harris for. He's bragging about it. Let me go back to the box. We'll bring up Jerry Holland. Good evening, Jerry. Welcome to the program. She is, how would the international community accept her? That's a good point, Black Queen, that the international community, but then again, okay, the international community won't accept women. A lot of communities are chauvinistic. So what are you saying? America should not have a woman president because the international community won't accept her? The international community was not fond of having a black president. The international community may only like white males. That sounds very supremistic of you. Okay, well, since the international community, they only like white men, let's just only put them up there. You don't ever break any barriers doing that. Jerry, good evening. Jerry Holland, are you there?
No.
Okay, you're not there. We'll move it on. Tap the screen, get the likes up to 70,000. We'll continue on with the program. Real quick in the comments here, Trump is all in the Epstein files. Cash and Bondi are going to jail. I think so. Well, listen, I don't know about him going to Japan. Bondi's going to lose her law abilities. I mean, I believe that. I don't know what she's done that's going to end up being criminal because Trump's going to give her big pardons. But yeah, I believe if he didn't, you might have a point. As a recently wealthy person, as my business has just really started booming, I'm proud to pay my employees a minimum wage of $21 an hour. Good for you, Caleb. Good for you. Problem is there's not enough people like you. There's not enough employers like you. Every employer doesn't reward a booming business by passing down the cash to their employees. A lot of them would just pocket it. A lot of them would just pocket it themselves. Listen, we're talking about President Trump, for instance. He's known for not paying people that work for him. His income has been steadily going up, yet people are claiming that he ain't even paying us right. So everybody don't do that. I think Jeff Bezos of Amazon is another guy that doesn't reward people, even though he's making more and more money. Alter Ego, thank you very much. You guys are helping me reach that TikTok cap goal. Halfway there. Show your boy some love. It's Christmas time, goddammit. Anyway, looking in the comments back then, got to do a little grifting every now and then. Come on now. Back then, a lot of white Republicans did not like Trump. They viewed him as a liberal. Well, Jeremy, he is on record as saying I identify as a Democrat. Hey, by the way, real quick before we move on to the next caller, thank you, Mike and Big Dog. Yeah! Thank you, Big Dog, showing your program some love. DJ D's. Shout out to you folks. In regards to President Trump, we'll go to the next caller shortly here, but in regards to President Trump, and tap the screen, get us up to 70. He not only did he identify as a Democrat, but you say a lot of white Republicans did not like Trump. Even now, if you look at the policies of Trump, even if you love Trump, even if you think what Trump is doing is great for America, there's no denying that he is not a Republican. He's not small government. He's not fiscal responsibility. He's not pro-Christianity. I mean, he's not even pro-Second Amendment, to be honest with you. Out of all of the politicians we've had in recent time, he's the guy who banned bump stocks. He's the guy on record saying you don't need to have a 100-round drum or something like that. He said, there's a YouTube video of him saying you don't need high-capacity magazines. He's the guy that says sometimes you got to fight with the NRA. I mean, so he's not pro Second Amendment. He's not pro Christianity. I mean, you guys are the family values party. This dude has been all over the place on his family, bringing chicks in the house and shit like that. He's not a traditional conservative. He just happens to be offering something, and I'll leave it up to you to figure out whatever that is, but he happens to be offering something that a lot of traditional Republicans think is significant enough that they're willing to overlook the fact that he doesn't qualify. There's a whole lot of boxes for if you had to list what denotes a traditional Republican, there's a whole lot of boxes that Trump is not checking off. A whole lot of boxes that he is not small government because he's sending the federal government in to do all kinds of things in states that he don't like. I mean, he's naming everything in Washington under him. That ain't something the Republican Party was a fan of. He's definitely not small. He's not a traditional Republican. Alter ego. That was beautiful. Let me go back to the box. Thank you, Alter Ego. That was beautiful. Continuing on with Mike. To be fair, are all three major indices up? Just asking. Thanks, MAGA. What are you talking about? What are you even talking about? There were more shootings than there are calendar. Okay, you guys are talking amongst each other. Mike, good evening.
Happy holidays, my black brother, Mr. Evans himself.
I thought I was the world's biggest coon, according to my black viewers.
Man, I don't give a fuck about you, my nigga, if you don't get no nigga. I said it. You damn right. I said it. Listen, okay. Happy holidays. Tap the screen, share the live, people. Let's get Tim up to 75,000 while I'm up here. I know most of y'all don't like me. Tap the screen faster and I'll get down faster. There you go. Hey, Miss Mo Better, listen. Can we go back real quick to the bullshit that Jeremy was talking about when it came to ACA?
Talk to me.
Because I wanted you to bring me up.
Talk to me.
First of all, if 20 million people did not have health care, and then the ACA gave them health care, those 20 million people are happy that they have health care.
Well, let me interrupt to say this. When the right says Obamacare sucks and is bad for America, I don't think they're even considering people that are uninsured. They're talking about people. Remember, the right is a pull yourself up by your bootstraps party. So they're looking at it like, I figured it out, so you should figure it out too. Either you lay on your face until you die down there, or you figure it out like I did. So they're only talking about the people that already were insured when Obamacare came along. They're saying for those people it was fucked up. They don't care about the uninsured.
No, I'm just talking about what Jeremy's point ass said when he came up here with all his with zero facts.
He said charity. He said charity was doing it.
I know, and he always brings up that one charity, but what he fails to realize is that, first of all, don't even get me going down. That's why I wanted you to bring me up when he was up here, because he started talking about pre-existing conditions and that obesity is not hereditary, which is a bullshit. There are hundreds of conditions. Hundreds. Jeremy, if your dumbass is still in here, there are hundreds of conditions.
Yeah.
That can bring on hereditary conditions that can bring on obesity. Hundreds. Just Google it, Jeremy. So what you said is completely wrong.
I've never seen a skinny Samoan at all. I think I think it's a hereditary condition for them.
Well, and then if we're going to have the conversation, we have to identify who deems obesity by BMI. Now, BMI, body mass index, has always been deemed widely biased because it wasn't built based on different races, different demographic, different body types. So and that's easy to Google. So for him to say the things he's saying and be 1,000% wrong is ridiculous. There are people that have thyroid issues. There's people that have Hashimoto disease. There's all kind of conditions that can bring on weight gain. So the idea that that's a problem. Now, Jeremy, just because you don't have any of those conditions and you fat, that's your problem. But I wouldn't suggest that you pay more in healthcare because of it. That's absurd.
Well, I would say in America, because I know this happened to me when I moved overseas. I didn't really, just by based on what's in the food, the portion sizes and all of that. I just started naturally losing weight when I moved over there because like if you go to a restaurant and you order some food or whatever, you get, you order a soda with it or whatever. They give you an 8 or a 10-ounce soda. They don't keep refilling it. You got to keep buying. If you want another, you got to buy another one. In America, they refill all that stuff. The portion sizes are much bigger. And as Kennedy is pointing out, the ingredients are bad because we are a capitalist country. So a lot of people that are in the food and restaurant industry and beverage industry are deliberately putting bad shit in your food because it inspires you to eat more of it.
Well, and the irony for JFK, I mean the RFK, to want to get rid of junk food when Michelle Obama suggested that, they eviscerated her ass. You don't tell us what to eat. This is a free country. You don't tell us to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. You black bitch, you Michael. And now this brainworm motherfucker gets in, and now he wants to ban junk food. Think about the hypocrisy. Now, this leads me to that piece of shit on the screen behind you. I've been telling you that white men have been mediocre since I met you.
Whoa. What do you mean by white men are mediocre? That's a strong statement.
I know, but I'm going to prove it. And listen, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. This country was built on mediocrity and being a participant trophy mentality. They are supposed to achieve and be successful, and they're superior because of the color of their skin. Now, those aren't my words. That's what that was the president of this country said. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, Tim.
But the question is, does that relate to 2025?
Yeah, yes. And I'm going to tell you why it relates to 2025, because they're bringing it back from the 1960s. They want to take us back to that time when they felt that way.
Who are they?
The one behind you on the screen, Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, Russell Vaught, and the whole white Christian nationalist movement. It ain't me.
So you actually believe that President Trump and J.D. Vance and the rest of these folks, the Steve Bannons and the Millers and all, you believe they want to take us back to, like, say, before the Civil Rights era?
That's what they said. I read the forward from J.D. Vance on your show, Tim. Yeah. They want to take the right. So you try to look over there. Don't look away. Stay here with me. Don't look over there. You're on it now.
I mean, when you say it ain't that I'm looking over there. I'm looking to this side of my brain and like, damn, it sounds horrible.
But that's is that what they said, or is not? Is that not?
That is what we looked it up. Yeah, that is what you pointed it out first, and I looked it up. But yeah, that is what was in there.
So I'm only saying what their aspirations are. But when we look at the entire structure, the foundation that we're sitting on, we can't deny that it was built on white supremacy. We can't deny that. So tell me, if it doesn't exist anymore, when the fuck did it change? Because you can change a law, but you don't change somebody's heart, Tim.
Yeah.
You can change a law, but tell me when the activity changed. Tell me when the laws changed. Tell me when the behavior changed. Tell me when things were equitable. The minute things started looking slightly equitable is why we're here today.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. There are plenty of white allies in terms of equality. And then before you continue, Marissa says now the caller has exposed his own hypocrisy. But Cowboy says when Trump said "Make America Great Again," he was talking about before black and brown people had rights.
That's what they said. People want to say that I'm exposing. I'm only telling you what they put in writing. I'm only telling you what this country, the history of this country. We were talking about, when Jeremy was here, he was talking about the history. This country has never taught the actual history in the classroom ever, and they don't want to. They want to demonize CRT. They want to. Why do you think Donald Trump and his administration are removing all of these things from the government? Don't say that word, and don't say that word, and don't say that word. You can't say that.
Listen, I can push back when I think I got a case to be made, but I'm going to just say from my own personal analysis, there is no denying, in my opinion, that there are large aspects of our history that it pertains to, racism, bigotry, slavery, discrimination, oppression that the Trump administration would rather not be taught. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe that. The stuff is dark, or they believe that it makes people look bad, or whatever the case may be. Some would say it teaches children to hate whites or hate America, whatever the case may be. I'm certain that there are aspects of our history that the Trump administration would rather not be taught. That absolutely believe, and this existed long before Trump. I mean, there's tons of our history. Yeah, there's tons of our history that is pretty clear that they didn't want to be known, like the Black Wall Streets and stuff that people just really heard about in recent time. They've been hiding that stuff. I mean, there are mass graves all over this country. You may drive home from work and it may drive over a grave because they don't paved over it, didn't tell you there was people that was there. So that does happen.
And it does happen. And let me say this. I'm not speaking for our entire community, but no one is saying that you have to apologize for being white. But you do have to acknowledge that this country has been racist. You do have to acknowledge, and this is the games that they're playing. This is the gaslighting that J.D. Vance is sitting up there doing. And they're trying to empower white people to feel some sort of way about Black and brown people even further. They're moving this forward, people. It's not my feelings. And Jeremy, in the comments, I didn't say, I don't know if anyone's ever said Trump broke Project 2025. You don't have to write a plan to execute on the plan.
Yeah, I don't think I don't believe Trump wrote it at all. I think Trump.
He didn't.
Yeah, Trump is an opportunist, and Trump wanted to get in office. Obviously, it helps him out with Jack Smith and Fonnie Willis and all that shit, but it also makes him the most powerful guy. His legacy and stuff is concerned. And he's like, well, if the Heritage Foundation and this Project 2025 shit can help me get in, then get me in, and then I'll look out for you. He's transactional.
Yeah, he's completely transactional. I've never said, and because I knew he didn't write it because I wrote it. But I also knew that he lied when he said he didn't know about it. He lied when he said it wasn't their plan. Peter Thiel was caught on camera saying the exact same thing. Not my words. You saw the video, right, Tim?
Yeah, I think that part is fairly clear that when Trump and the right was saying they didn't know about Project 2025, that was a lie. I mean, Project 2025 is heinous. If they were to admit that was the goal, no, they probably wouldn't have won the election. So yeah, right. But I think it's pretty clear that they knew that was coming.
Yeah, so it was transactional, and it is, and Agenda 47 was what they said, Jeremy, what they said to convince you that that's all it was. But if you read it, it's way more than that. And that's fine if you don't believe it. That's fine if you're still in the cult and you want to, kind of obfuscate the fact that it's a real thing. That's cool. I mean, I don't believe
shit. I mean, to be honest with you, Agenda 47 ain't nothing good either.
Yeah, well, they act like Agenda 47 was some damn agenda of progression. That shit was taking us back from the very beginning. But I'll say this, and again, there are millions of white people that have been allies. There are millions of white people that believe in the things that I'm saying. I'm not saying all white people. I would never say all of anyone, right? I mean, that would be disingenuous and hypocritical of me to say. But I will say that what J.D. Vance is doing now, he's trying to be the provocateur because he understands that in order to keep this moving, it won't be Trump. And he's trying to fill in the gaps and try to be more like Trump by saying these racist, bigoted things out loud so that base can continue to follow him instead of Trump. I understand.
Do you buy into this whole claim that him and Erica Kirk are going to ride off into the sunset together, though?
I told you what I felt. Yeah, I do. Now he can. I do. But but I told you this, Tim. When you build a monster, don't be surprised when you can't control it. What Nick Fuentes said the other day about his wife, now they're angry because he made a derogatory statement about Usha. But again, you want to take your level and your approach to racism and bigotry and hatred and then deem someone else who has the same views, but they're more adamant about it than you.
Was Nick Fuentes invited to, I heard he wasn't at the Heritage meeting, was he?
I don't know if he was at the recent one.
Because the point I'm going to make is this: we've heard people say for a few years now, Joe Biden's "Vote for Me or You Ain't Black" and how racist that is. if you're, and I want to say this to any of my beloved MAGA, my folks on the right, if your side is friendly with Nick Fuentes in any way, shape, or form, with all of that, Hitler is cool, shit, no, I don't want to hear about Biden. Seriously? I mean, when Tucker's sitting down giving him a 3-hour interview and shit, I don't want to hear about vote for me and you ain't black and you hanging around this dude. He should absolutely be ostracized from every member of the right. Now, Ben Shapiro, because obviously Shapiro's Jewish, but there are plenty of folks on the right that are really favorable to this guy.
Well, and again, because, Tim, if your foundation is based on white supremacy or white Christian nationalism, and that's your foundation, you can't control the visceral response to other people that may find that more deeply rooted in them. What I mean, Nick Fuentes believes what they believe, but he's a lot more adamant and progressive about, white supremacy.
You think most MAGA think like Nick Fuentes, though?
Yes, I do. I literally do. Tim, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. You tell me the thing. Are you allergic to anything?
No.
Are you physically allergic to anything?
Not that I know
tell
of.
Me, so whatever the thing, and everybody has one, the thing that is the line in the sand for you, whatever the line in the sand for your morality and for your integrity, what is that thing, Tim? What is that one thing? Just give me one.
Abusing kids? I mean...
Okay, perfect. So stay right there. Abusing kids. So if that's the case, I don't expect you to be within 10 feet of somebody that either has accusations, tries to obfuscate from that abuse, or right? I mean, is that a fair assessment?
That's fair.
Right. So Donald Trump is surrounded by these people. Surrounded by them. And then they want to convince you that they don't aspire to that. That's what his followers try to say. They try to say he's not a racist, but he's surrounded by the very things.
You know something? I brought that. You raised a good point. I brought that up yesterday. That one of the reasons why the right was so adamant about getting what is his name, Kilmar Abrego Garcia out of the country is because they thought he was MS-13, and he had friends and associates that were also MS-13. They were holding him accountable for the people he hung around. We've all heard that. That you are who you hang around, you think it's thieves. I don't understand why Trump can hang around people like that. And yeah, they don't hold him accountable for being like the people he hang around. I mean, look, if I hung around somebody like Epstein and had all them photos and shit out there as much as he did, it would be hard for me to convince the cops that I wasn't like that. It really would be. Like, you've been around this dude a whole fucking life. You didn't know what he was doing?
Yeah, well, and listen, Tim, and you're 100% right. But I like to go deeper, and I like to make people accountable to their principles. If Donald Trump is not that thing, but he's surrounded by that thing, you wouldn't accept it for your own goddamn children.
Yeah.
If your wife had a bunch of friends that was sucking dick and running around and twerking in the streets, you probably wouldn't want your wife hanging around them. And if your wife was adamant of running with them, ultimately you would start to think different about your wife. Yes or no, Tim?
It's a fair point.
Listen, take all the politics out of it. And I really lean into this. Take the politics out of it. You are around, you accept the thing. What you permit, you promote. Let's just
the problem with Trump is, in my opinion, is it's not just guilt by association. The fact that he hasn't explained why he put Ghislaine Maxwell at minimum security, that I don't get why MAGA's not questioning that at least. I mean, like, why did you do this for this woman? I don't get why that ain't coming up.
Because they're in a cult, Tim. These people are gone, and their racism is stronger than their morals. Listen, Tim, people's racism is, this is just my opinion. Racism is the strongest polarizing ideology on the planet. People use racism in conjunction with their religion.
So what are you suggesting, that that's all Trump is really offering when it boils down to it is racism?
No, I think he's okay with it. That's my point. I do believe he's a racist. I don't believe that he's as far gone as Stephen Miller. I don't believe he's as far gone as Stephen Bannon, but I do believe that he doesn't give a fuck one way or another. See, when people talk about racism, and only 5% of white people own slaves, 95% of other white people will stand by and watch it happen. Racism isn't our issue, Tim. Racism is not our issue. We are the recipients of the hate. We didn't create the hate. How do you have a 19-year-old and 20-year-old right now that can get on this app and scream nigga, 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 nigga all day long?
I will say, fortunately, I don't get that on my app, but I have been on plenty of apps and, plenty of conversations on other people's lives. And there's somebody who was on the internet that does that. They get into lives and they just, maybe
so
it could be.
How can a young kid, and this is my point, Tim, how can a young kid grow up with such a disgusting position about race and he's 19?
But is it possible that maybe the person that's doing that is not actually racist, but just trolling for attention?
Even if they're using it as a tool for trolling, Tim, they've been taught how to use it and position it in the realm of hate. Now, Pizza Lover, you just said we use it in our music all the time. That's none of your fucking business, because in this country, you say, and they always go to our music. First of all, 95% of all music formed in this country was formed by black people.
I disagree with you, Mike, though. I disagree. To me, I think if the N-word is improper to say, then black shouldn't be saying it as well. I don't favor that.
I don't agree with that at all. I'm gonna tell you why. Because intent and impact matters. Now, the N-I-G-G-A and the N-I-G-G-E-R are completely different. Now, am I right or wrong, Tim?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you credit because you're mispronouncing the word. We know what you're saying.
It's not about mispronouncing it. No. It's not about mispronouncing it. Tim, so are you telling me that me saying to you, that's my nigga, is the same as Gen X coming up here and calling you a nigga? Or is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying if a word is wrong to be said, it shouldn't matter what skin color the person is that's saying. The word should be bad, period.
Again, this is another part of the white supremacy in this country. The definition of our language of AAVE gets misappropriated, and then we're told not to take a word that was used to demonize this, and we use it in a different context, and all of a sudden we can't say it.
Mike, we can never move forward as a people when we're telling one race of people solely based on their skin color that they can't say a word. If the word is bad, it's bad for humanity, not just for one group of people. To me, that's racist to them. We can say something, but what is the difference between saying that only whites can eat at this restaurant or only whites can swim in this pool, as opposed to only blacks can use this word? I mean, to me, I see a lot of similarities in it.
Tim, what was the word? Is the word deemed hate speech? Yes or no?
If it's hate speech, it's hate speech by anyone using it.
I'm just asking you, is it deemed hate speech? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Which spelling of the word is deemed hate speech, Tim?
If it's pronounced properly, it's like saying axe versus ask. The only reason blacks use it with an A is they were mispronouncing it. But yeah, ER, which is pronouncing it properly, which is what the whites normally do, we're demonizing them. But if a black person even says it with an ER, we're not going to demonize them.
But again, Tim, listen, I'm not saying you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it.
It's racist, Mike. Mike,
I'm literally saying what was deemed. It's not racist, Tim. Black folks can be racist, and you and I are going to have this debate one day so I can break this shit down for you. But I'm going to get back to the context of what I'm saying.
Real quick, because I do got to move on, but I'm just going to tell you my opinion on this is you can't tell certain groups of people because of their skin color they can't use a damn word. That's racist.
Wait a minute. I'm not saying that they can't use the word. Here's the difference, Tim. Here's the difference. There's a consequence now. See, here's the difference.
The consequence is racist.
No, what I'm saying to you is that, and this is why they're trying to take us back, because they want to take us back to a time where they could say whatever they wanted and there was no consequence for it. There's consequences for everything. They want to take us back to the time where they could do whatever they want to us. We could be subjugated to a level and there was no repercussion. Where do you think the term Karens came from, Tim? If you want to have the conversation,
unfortunately, I gotta move it. I'm about to talk about this on the other side. I do gotta move it on, but we gotta have a conversation about this specific topic on another time for certain, though. Real quick, make your point.
This is gonna be my last words. Jeremy, I've invited you. I told you in MAGA Reacts, if you motherfuckers want to ever debate me on facts, but what you can't tell me about is my community. See, the difference between black people and white people is we had to study y'all. Y'all didn't give a fuck about us. You never wanted to understand how intelligent we are or smart we were. You didn't want to know any of that. All this country wanted to know was how much free labor we could get from us. And you didn't want us to be smart. That's why we couldn't read, because it was illegal. We couldn't walk on the same side of the street. Now that we have a level of intelligence, you want to tell me about our experience in this country when it comes to y'all? We study y'all. I know what I'm talking about. Now, what I would like you to do, Jeremy, I'm going to end it here and I'm going to drop, Tim. Now, I'm going to shoot you some gifts. What I want you guys to do, if you feel I'm wrong, just go read Project 2025. Don't listen to me. Read what they think about us and read what they think about you. You've never debated me, Jeremy. You're not equipped to debate me. I'm too smart for you. I'm one of the niggas they taught to read, Jeremy.
All right, next time you're on, Mike, I'll put you guys together. Mike, appreciate it.
Hey, have a happy holiday, brother.
You too, man. Well, I think I might be on tomorrow, so if you want to come back through and educate me, you know my door's always open to you.
I will, but you got to give me some more time, man. I'm going to send, anyway.
As one man once said, Mike, I'm your nigga. I got to go. All right, tap the screen, get the likes on up to 80, maybe at 90,000. We can certainly make that happen. Now, I'm going to be candid and go back to stating what I was stating with my last caller, which I know is going to be not favored by a lot of folks on the left, particularly African Americans. But my opinion is, if a word is toxic, nobody should use it. That's just my opinion, which is why you don't hear me. When I said it then to my last caller, that was probably the first time I've used that word in, I don't know, a few years. I don't use that. Look, if a word is toxic, and thank you for the TikTok captor, Busy Blonde. Thank you very much. If a word is toxic, no one should use it. I don't believe that if an albino walks down the street and uses the N-word, that he should fear for his safety because people might mistake him as a white guy. If the word is toxic, nobody should. Now, I hear the argument between the ER, bigger versus bigger, as if for some reason, if a white person uses it with the A versus the ER, they're going to get treated any different. If the word is toxic, nobody should be using it. That's just my opinion. Also, I would also add on the JPT Farms, guys helping up your boy out with the TikTok cap gold. Thank you very much. I would also add that how the hell are you going to go out and sell an album with lyrics on it that you don't want your customers to say? Does that make fucking sense? If the word is wrong, then don't sell any of your fucking albums to white people. I know I'm going to get hammered by folks that are African American descent. I'm fine with that. I don't get it always. I'm not always right, but damn it, I'm right this time. How the hell are you going to sell music to customers and then tell them do not sing the lyrics on the shit they purchased? Tell me that doesn't seem ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I see MXX says you're wrong as hell this time. I don't look. So you do think it's okay for some artist to sell music to a white person, take that person's money, and then threaten the person for repeating the same lyrics on the song they purchased from them? And we want to point out white people being racist. That doesn't make our side look good at all. I mean, to me, that just sounds like almost to some degree what President Trump is doing. I want to take revenge on people that I thought fucked me over. Now that I'm president, the people that fucked me over, I want to get back with them. That to me is what it sounds like the African American community is doing with the N-word. Okay, well, you guys called us this and all this, so now we can use it, but you can't, because there's no shortage of white people, or better yet, there is no shortage of black people that refer to white people as the N-word. Anytime a black person gets in a fight with a white person, you can certainly amongst the younger community, plenty of black people get in a fight with a white person and start calling them the N-word. If the word is toxic, nobody should be able to use it. Nobody should be able to use it. I think it's really wrong, but look, I get that I'm on the minority side of this, with the black community. I get it, but I absolutely am not going to defend telling somebody they cannot use a word because of their skin color. That doesn't make you look any better than the people you're complaining about. Can't sing the lyrics, says Kimberly. Yeah, you sold this dude the album. He's at your concert, paid to get in, paid for the music, showing you nothing but love and support for what you do as an artist, but he can't sing the lyrics of your fucking song, or you're gonna get mad at him. Really? All right. Anyway, and I see in the comments it's deeper than that, says Dwayne. Okay. I don't see how it's any deeper than that. If the word is toxic, don't use the word. Allowing certain people to use words because whether they have melanin or not, how is that not racist? Certain people could not go in certain restaurants because they had melanin or not. Certain people could not eat at certain lunch tables because they had melanin or not. How is this any different? Certain people cannot use certain words. Mike! We didn't agree, but I agree with that. Thank you, Mike. You almost got me saying I'm your N-word again, but it's a toxic word, so I'm going to adhere to what I'm saying. Anyway, let me get back to the comments. The white comedian that hired the black guy to say the N-word was hilarious. I have seen that. I have seen that that clip of the white guy on the stage with the black. There's also a clip of a white and black guy in the car, and there's a song that's on what is it? I told you I'm a ride with my motherfucking. You guys know the song. But anyway, the white guy's in the car driving and he's singing that song. I ride for my N-words or whatever. And the N-word is said a lot in that song. Kind of like N-word ask about me, just like with Jay-Z's song. But anyway, every time the N-word comes on, the black guy looks at it. It's funny like that. But yeah, to me, if the word is toxic, nobody should be using. Let me go back to the box. Maybe I need to get chastised on this or corrected on this. I don't get it. I just don't believe that anybody should use the word if it's toxic. Nicole, good evening. Welcome to the program. Nicole, if it brings her up. Tim, the word was toxic to our ancestors. What is flipped now to be a word of endearment amongst African Americans? It's not a word of endearment because Eminem can't use it. Justin Bieber can't use it, and they are well adored and loved in the black community. They can't even use it as a term of endearment. So it's not a term of endearment. It's a term that people are saying that only one race can use. Even people that are cool with each other can't use it if they happen to be the wrong skin color. So it ain't even a term of endearment at that point. It's just a term that only black people can use. We'll let a black person use it if they're using it towards somebody as a term of endearment, or even if they're saying N-word, I'm about to smoke your black ass. Doesn't matter how they're using it, they can use it. Even if it's not being used, even if it's being used as a term of hate, we allow African Americans to use it. How is that not racist? How is that not racist? I don't get it. Anyway, some blacks use the N-word, yeah, exactly, maliciously as well, exactly. As in, you're not better than me. Yeah, blacks use that word in all different types of ways. I mean, it's kind of like fucking Greek seasoning. You can put it on all kinds of meat. How is it not racist? I know I look bad for pointing out airing black laundry. I get it, but I don't favor it. If it's toxic, it's toxic. Going back, no, Bieber is not singing soul, but Justin Bieber is obviously, most of his friends are black. Dude, hanging around everybody from Boys to Men on down. I mean, I'm certain that Justin Bieber, and same thing I said with Eminem, they're welcome in the black community. They get invited to the cookout and all that shit. Let me go back. He's not singing soul, though. No, he hasn't done that. Going back to the box, fuck around and find out Gen X. Oh, yeah, Diddy loved him some Justin. Diddy loved him some everybody. Gen X, good evening.
What's up, my brother?
I'm in the trenches, and I'm in the trenches on my own Saturday out this time.
Hey, one thing we can agree on, if you can't say it, then I shouldn't be able to say it. That's just, I agree with you there. You know what I'm saying? That's just, if it's racist for me, then it's racist for you.
Yeah. But I just
feel the same way with a lot of words. Cracker, honky, whatever it is. If it's a racial slur, it's a racial slur.
Well, I
You're not gonna
will
say a word.
separate.
I can't say it.
I will
You're
separate.
not gonna say a word. Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
will
Go
put
ahead.
I will put a slight partition with Cracky and Hunky because the N word does have a lot of actual action behind it. People actually have lost their lives and been killed. And you don't normally see people, there's not a history of people being killed behind those other words. Even though those are racial terms, I don't favor them either. But there is a history behind the N word that there is some significance to that.
Well, here's something, and I hate to admit this, that I agree with Mike on. The hard R and a soft A are two different words.
Okay.
They're just two different words. I call my mom Ninja, and she gets mad as fuck, and that old Italian lady wants to smack the shit out of me.
Do you call her the hard R or the A?
No, the A, the soft A.
You call your mom?
Just joking because I know it annoys the shit out of her.
What do you call black people? What do you call black people? Go ahead and tell us. Don't lie.
No, I call black people black folks.
You don't call them the ER?
No.
I heard you almost call you were in the midst of using the term Arab N-word. We were having a conversation a few months back. You almost slipped. Because I told her, I said, did you almost slip? And you admitted, yes, I almost did.
No, not the ER. No, I don't use that word. I use the A. Let me give you a little context. I was on Mike's stream, or not his stream, but somebody else's stream, and they were pecking me about the word, and I used it more than once.
Why?
Because they were asking me about it, and I'm not going to cloak my speech because it pleases somebody else. Now, there was one gentleman on there, I think his name was MAGA Conservative or something like that, and he very politely said, brother, don't say that word, because whether it's the hard R or the A, it bothers me. And he's a conservative. And you know what? I didn't use the word again because I won't disrespect somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's just not okay with me.
I don't think you can use the words. Unfortunately, certainly as a white person, but to me it should be black too. But I don't think you can use the word as a white person without disrespect. If other white people hear you using the word, many of them will see you as being disrespectful. I mean, because they've been taught that is a bad word. I just think.
Wait a second, but I'm borderline. I'm Italian, I'm Indian, and I got a little bit of Puerto Rican in me. So I got the N-word pass.
You don't look like any of that shit. So
I don't look like a fucking German.
You're hanging around with the Proud Boys. That's gonna change a lot of things, man. If I'm hanging around MAGA, I can't go to the cookout.
All right, I'll give you that. Oh wait, why can't we come to the cookout?
MAGA? You want to bring red hats to the cookout?
You're not going to let me to the cookout because I put raisins in my potato salad.
I can't come to the cookout with somebody wearing a red hat, man. Unless you play for the Cincinnati Reds or some shit, you can't put a red hat on. I mean, it's gotten to the point now, dude, where you see people walking down the street with a red hat. You don't even look and see what's on the front of it. It could be the Cincinnati Reds or something. People see red hats and they get anxious. He don't change the game for red hats.
My point was, I agree with you. If it's taboo for one of us, let it be taboo for all. It's a word. It's not something that that I even want to use. Do I use it? Yeah, I do. I do. But I mostly use it with my own friends, my own family.
So when you hanging around those boys that are quite proud, y'all throwing around the N-word, huh? What is the for?
Some don't like it. Some of us won't use it. I use it. A bunch of us do use it on each other. That's a term of it, and I know you disagree with this.
Yeah, I'm disagreeing my ass off.
If I call one of my best boys my ninja, that's because I love that motherfucker. I said ninja. Out of respect for
bad enough. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Hearing it come from somebody who was perceived as white, even hearing ninja is pretty fucking bad. Because we know what it's just you're indicating what you really want to say when you say ninja. Because that's why people are saying. Hearing ninja is even kind of bad. If you're white and you go around public saying my ninja or look at that ninja, you might as well just go ahead and say the N-word to most people.
So now we're going to outlaw the word ninja too.
I don't agree with any of it. But if you're trying to indicate that you want to say a word that, as I keep saying, it's toxic, you can't complain when people say something about it. Like I said, I don't think the African American community should be using the word either. But there's a lot of whites out there that are dying to use it. They really want to use it too.
First of all, Chronic, I'm going to address somebody in your chat. Chronic, I would never just drop that out of my mouth to your wife or anyone, you, your mom, if I don't know you. Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
You never seen some black people out in public and acting up or something. You said, "Look at those ninjas," or I told you these ninjas. Just that type of language never came out of you.
Nope, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely fucking not.
All right.
Absolutely not. But it's funny that you brought the point up about the word ninja. So what, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of black dudes on a corner and some yellow motherfucker jumps out a window all clad in black with a sword and I say, look at that ninja, these motherfuckers gonna beat me to death? The fuck?
Yes, if somebody jumps out the window clad in black with a samurai sword, yes, you can call them a ninja. That's funny though. Yes, if they got the little split toe shoes on, yes, you can call them a ninja. I believe that's what they're doing. Oh my God, that's funny. Okay. So what about JD Vance saying that it's the time for apologizing for being white is over with? What is your opinion on that?
I agree with it. I sent you links on YouTube. And
is it a video of you apologizing for being white?
There's several videos. All you got to do on YouTube is put in white folks apologizing for being white, and it'll pull up a bunch of videos.
I want you to, speaking of apologizing for being white, I want you to hear this and give me your opinion on this. This is indeed JD Vance himself discussing his dear old lady.
I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom.
You know what he sounds like he's saying?
I love my wife so much. I love my wife.
It's kind of like somebody who might say, look, I love my son so much. I know he has Down syndrome, but, obviously he's not normal like the rest of the kids, but it almost sounds like he's painting her not being white as some kind of negative, like some kind of adverse effect. He loves her, but it sounds like he's apologizing for her not being white.
See, I don't hear that, Tim. I equate.
Why bring it up?
If I had a child with a black chick, and I said, look, and I was in this conversation, I'm not going to apologize that my son's half black. That's not, to me, that's not apologizing for anything.
Why bring it up? Why are you telling Megyn Kelly? Everybody knows your wife is not white. So why are you telling Megyn Kelly on a right-wing podcast, obviously is not white? Why is it even coming up?
I don't know the thought process behind what he's saying. What I do know is that I didn't see that as a bad thing. The guy was just making a statement, man.
No, I'm just saying with him, to me, it sounds like he's telling his audience, look, yeah, she's not white, but I love her. I mean, it would be just like you mentioned if you had a baby with a black person or something, and all of your friends were white and they didn't like black people, and you came out and told them, look, man, I get that she ain't white, but I don't fall in love with this chick, man. Why don't y'all lay off of me? I don't kind of fell in love with her. That's what it sounds like what he's doing. It sounds like he's apologizing and letting his folks know, y'all need to overlook this one right here for me. I get how y'all feel. A lot of these ninjas be out here doing crazy shit. But this one right here, I don't kind of gave up my heart. I need y'all to work with me on this. That's what it sounds like I'm hearing.
Again, that's very subjective. That's how you heard it. And that's okay. I believe that is your truth.
Right.
To me, that's not my truth. I don't hear that. I just don't hear that.
Fair enough. I don't get why it's coming up. I don't get why he would tell someone like Megyn Kelly or her supporters, everybody that watched Megyn Kelly already knows his wife is not white. That is not some type of breaking news. So why is that coming up?
I'm not going to second guess. I don't know.
And real quick in the audience, Alter Ego wanted to say, play it. I want you, not you, but somebody in the audience wanted to hear
My
it.
wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom. I love my wife so much.
I can't stop it. You think those white supremacists are liberals? I mean, like I said, to me, it sounds like he got friends out there that have their own opinion about people that are not white. And he's trying to let them know, just on this one right here, I need y'all to work with me, man. I don't give her my heart. I know you're not hearing it that way, but that's the way I'm hearing it. Them white supremacists he's talking about, I doubt if because he would have said Democrats if it was a whole bunch of liberals. That's his people coming at her like that. And he's trying to calm them down and let them know you like me, right? But this is somebody I don't give my heart to work with me. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe not. Again, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. And what you said about right-wing racists, dude, racism is on both sides of the aisle.
Right, but as I stated, if his wife was being attacked by white supremacists that were Democrats, he would have added that in there. That would have been an easy one. He would have absolutely pointed out that they're Democrats. He didn't do that.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
Yeah,
I'll give you that one.
So
yeah,
that,
because that'd be an easy win.
Yeah,
that'd
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So he's indicating I'm getting flanked from my own side. My own people is doing this because my woman is not what they want her to be, but I don't fell in love with her. He's trying to tell his own people to calm down. Work with me on this one. I'm part of making America great again. I just happen to fall for something that ain't what we normally work with, but she's doing right by me. She's a great mom. Work with me. That's what I'm hearing. He's pleading with his people to call off the dogs that he ain't with a white woman.
A lot of us on the right don't want to admit that there's a lot of right-wing racists.
I don't know why now. We can see the motherfuckers from a mile away.
Let me finish. We'd like to think that we can conform them, but you can't. White people aren't racist. Racists are racist. Black people aren't thieves. Thieves are thieves. Mexicans are lazy. Lazy people are lazy.
Black people are thieves. You didn't have to do that.
If I'd have said crack dealers, I'd even been in a word.
You damn right. You didn't. Gen X is always a good conversation. You didn't have to do that. Oh my God. Oh Lord. All right, Gen X, I'm gonna have to move it on. You got my damn cheeks hurt. Real quick in the comments, Big Dog. Speaking of Diddy. What the fuck is Ray J talking about? Diddy bust his ass. You guys in this Diddy shit and had him unable to hold his mud for a while. And all Ray J has already been on record as saying any publicity is good publicity. Ray J's whole claim to fame has kind of been a lower version of the Kardashians. That's why Ray J is saying. I don't think he had his ass. He was trolling. Thanks for the support. So
let me say one more thing up for you.
Sure, go ahead.
The whole Nick Fuentes thing. Do I agree with some of what he says? Yeah, it's kind of debatable. Do I think he's a fucking retard? Yeah, Nick Fuentes is a fucking idiot.
Do you think he's a racist?
100%.
Okay. So why is your party affiliating with this guy? Is it that many pro-racists in your party?
It's not my party. It's some of the right agrees with him and identifies with him, but a larger percentage. And I can say this through experience, do not. Tim, when you get a chance, look this up. Proud Boys chase off, beat up skinheads protesting in Iowa. Just pull that up. Because there was a tranny parade and black folks showed up.
You got the language of Archie Bunker. Go ahead. Okay, there was a tranny. You and these words, they don't like that. They don't like that word, Mike. They dropped him. They took my boy off of saying that one word. Wow. Gen X, you're always welcome back on the program. They didn't like that. My God. I was just about to tell him, you got the language of Archie Bunker. That man just got language. Anyway, let me continue on. But he did say Proud Boys actually attacked a skinhead. There was oh my God. It flows naturally for you, Gen X. Go ahead and appeal that. I don't think you're going to win that, but go ahead and appeal them banning you like that. You know you can come on the program anytime. I'm looking in the comments here. We know the white folks in Ohio ain't right. But you even see if you're, okay, yes, even if you're a guy, or better, even if you're in his party, you can see that he's the ultimate racist. And I'm just going to say it like this. Because this is where I was going to go with my last caller. If your side is not, what is the word I want to use? If your side is not galvanized in condemning folks like Nick Fuentes, you can't blame folks on the other side for starting to throw racial accusations in terms at your party. If Nick Fuentes can show up and plenty members of your party are cool with him and willing to meet with him and sit down and do interviews with him, you can't criticize people on the left when they start throwing the racism label at the right. Because look, if liberals were willing to sit down with, a pedo, or sit down with somebody who was in favor of killing cops or doing something crazy, you brand the whole party. If all of a sudden, a cop killer had no problem getting on TV with Rachel Maddow or getting interviews with Anderson Cooper, you would be like, that party is in favor of cop killers. Here's a guy who don't done it, got all for it, and they keep interviewing him and inviting him every damn way. Nick Fuentes has been in the upper echelons of the right of the MAGA. I mean, look, he's been interviewed by Tucker Carlson. Piers Morgan is not. I don't think Piers Morgan is like MAGA. I mean, he's not a liberal, but he's not an American. So Piers Morgan, he interviewed Nick Fuentes as well. But I'm simply saying Nick Fuentes is welcomed by a lot of folks on the right. Obviously, he was at Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago. President Trump claiming that he didn't know who he is. That, I'm going to tell you my opinion, that's a flat out lie. That's my opinion of that. Maybe you disagree, but there's no way in hell I believe that somebody who has been president of the United States for a full term would have somebody in their home that they don't know who that person is. A celebrity, somebody that thousands, if not millions of people know, and you just came in your home, Kanye West of all people, just bring somebody to your crib and you didn't ask, well, who is this guy you got with you? Didn't ask, didn't know. Nobody on the Secret Service, which have to pat the guy down and make sure he's not a security threat. None of them came and told you this dude is a racist. This dude has this type of profile. Here's some of his videos. Nobody told you that. That makes zero sense. Anybody that walks in Trump's presence, and I'm talking about before he got reelected, I'm talking about when Nick Fuentes came around. That person, because Trump has already been president, they got to be interviewed by the Secret Service and all of that to make sure they're safe to be around the president. Somebody told him who this dude was. The idea that he didn't know who this guy is that's a flat out lie. That's a flat out lie. Some stranger walked in your home and you're the former president. That's a huge safety risk. That's not believable. That is absolutely not believable. Trump, the child rapist in chief, damn, JLP. He hasn't been convicted of harming any children. And I see Trump, you guys are going crazy on Trump claiming he's a pedo, huh? Could be a duck car. I don't know what that means. It might be a duck, but he identifies as a giraffe. Nick was banned from Young Republicans in New York City. He ain't being banned from enough spots, though, Mr. Darcy. I mean, Tucker Carlson is still heavily favored by the Republican Party, and he interviewed Nick Fuentes. The Republican Party ain't shaming Nick Fuentes. I mean, they're not shaming Tucker Carlson. So, like I said, if you're open to sit down and talk to this guy, even some of you can't fault people on the left, especially people of color, that's saying, man, your party looks like a racist party. That dude shouldn't be around. I mean, he ain't just a typical intolerant, bigot, racist type guy. He's a well-known guy who has a huge following that's doing it. And he's went much further than just saying a few statements here and there. I mean, stuff like Adolf is cool and denying the Holocaust. I mean, he said some pretty damning things. So bringing him around, you're kind of opening yourself up for that kind of conversation. Anyway, I appreciate the 95,000. Looking in the comments, you just said white power. Let us hear what you got to say about your beliefs. Who said that? I didn't say that. I guess you guys are debating with each other in the comment section. Now Tim will never be allowed at Mar-a-Lago, maybe as a valet. I saw that earlier. MAGA said that, said I would never be allowed at Mar-a-Lago unless I was a valet. I want to deny that. I want to push back, but right now I'm nobody special. So yeah, if I'm at Mar-a-Lago, it's probably me working there. No, so you're probably right for now. Trying to censor Nick will only make him larger. Yeah, among races. Yeah. Trying to censor Nick Fuentes will only make him larger. You're right. Among races. He will bring more races out of the woodwork. If you censor somebody who brags about abusing children and it brings more people out of the woodwork, you're bringing out child abusers. You're going to bring more people out of the woodwork that agree with what he's saying. If you're not racist, that ain't going to bring you out the woodwork. It's bringing out more racists. It's going to bring out people that are currently walking around denying that they're racist. That's what it's going to do. It's going to make it so that they're out in the open. So yeah, maybe that does need to happen. that way, at least you know what you're dealing with, huh? Trump is the real deal one way or another. What depends on what your definition of the real deal is. Nick Fuentes is the real deal. If you want to talk about the real deal, so is Nick Fuentes. He ain't hiding what he is. He's the real deal. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys with the 98,000. We're on the cusp of Christmas Eve. I think I'm going to be around tomorrow for a show if you guys want to roll with your guy. I do appreciate you guys tapping the screen. Almost got us up to 100,000. Almost. Helped you guys with the TikTok cap goal. But we're talking about the notion that white people should stop apologizing for being white. I'm not aware of anybody that's done that, but Gen X came on and said that there is a whole bunch of people on YouTube, on social media, that has apologized for being white. I don't, something, I'll just say it like this before I close the show up. I don't believe people apologize for being white. I think they're apologizing for the sins of whites in the past or the sin. Look, I'll give you a perfect example. And this probably resonates with a lot of other African Americans. It certainly does with me. Because I'm in a lot of areas where the folks that are around me are predominantly white. I'll give you this other example. Like I was riding the train to work downtown Chicago years ago. I lived out in Elgin. My neighborhood was mostly white. And the people that would be on the train called the metric train, the commuter train, were mostly white people. And there was this black guy that got on the train. It's got to be 15 years ago or so ago. But anyway, he got on the train. His phone started ringing. And it was that Jay-Z song. Ninja, ask about me. Ninja, ask about me. I felt embarrassed. Nothing to do with me. But to have this guy sitting on the train, none but mostly white people around, his phone goes off and that's what's coming out of it loudly. So everybody's looking at it. Ninja, ask about me. Ninja, ask about me. So you can be embarrassed for the actions of somebody that looks like you that has nothing to do with you. There are plenty of African Americans that may live in middle class or upper middle class or even wealthy surroundings that happen to see an African American in the area. Maybe they don't knocked off a bank or a liquor store or something, and they feel embarrassed by it. Should they? Probably not the same way the whites are saying it, but it can happen. So I totally understand somebody who's white or Caucasian feeling embarrassed about the awful shit that a lot of whites have done in the past, because there's a hell of a lot of blacks that are embarrassed about some of the awful shit that blacks are doing now. It works both ways, folks. I'm just saying, it works both ways. I've seen plenty of African Americans on TV. Fox News, they don't show anybody doing anything heinous unless there's a person of color. Fox News don't tell you about some white dude that committed a felony and should have been in prison, but the judge let him out. They don't even show you shit like that. If they show you somebody who is out committing crimes that should still be incarcerated, damn it, that person is melanated. They don't even, you would think that white people all face justice if you watch Fox News. They don't even cover that type of shit. So I can totally understand being embarrassed because, Tim, you were bailing them out. How am I bailing them out, Miss Mobet? I'm just simply saying that is the way a lot of African Americans feel as well. When you see somebody acting up, let's say you go out to a nice community, or maybe you bought yourself a home in a nice upscale neighborhood. Maybe you're one of the first few African Americans that moved in that neighborhood. And all of a sudden you hear that, there's some kids in the neighborhood stealing bikes and shit like that. And it just happens to be black folks. You're like, this is fucked up, making us look bad. You can feel embarrassed for something you have nothing to do with. It happens from all sides. So the idea that it makes no sense for whites to be embarrassed for shit they have nothing to do with, no, that happens. I'm sure Hispanics feel the same way. I'm sure there are plenty of Hispanics that done everything they could to come to this country, and they find themselves embarrassed anytime they hear about another Hispanic
Because she's who she.
committing a
Obviously,
felony.
she's not a white person, and we've been accused.
JD Vance wanted to talk again. Anyway, I appreciate 100,000. You guys got me over that. I didn't bail them out, Mr. Mobetta, but I do got to step away. You guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoy this type of dialogue, we'll be back tomorrow. Most weekdays, follow the program if you're watching on Instagram, X, or TikTok. Happen to be watching us on YouTube, give your boy a sub. I got to go. Take care. And I'm not bailing anybody out.